Martin second, Earnhardt third. Martinsville, Virginia, September the 23rd. Earnhardt second, Martin third. North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, September the 30th. Martin wins, Earnhardt second. Martin has earned almost 3,900 points. Earnhardt a mere 16 behind. Will today's Mello Yello 500 be the championship buster? Stand by.
The Mello Yello 500 is brought to you by Coors. Coors, the Rocky Mountain original. And by Today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. And by Haviland's superior grade motor oil. Fights sludge, protects engines. And by Goodyear tires. Goodyear, because there really is a difference.
Look at this crowd. It is the largest sports gathering in the Carolinas. It's race day at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the 500. For 31 years, they've come every autumn on this weekend to enjoy Winston Cup racing. Hello, everyone. I'm Ken Squire, and welcome to the 31st Mello Yello 500. $765,000 at stake. 41 drivers are at the ready to run some 334 laps on this mile-and-a-half track to make the 500-mile distance. A lot of stories have been developing the past couple of days. My colleagues are Johnny Hayes and the great driver Neil Bonnet. Let's get right to what's going on here, John.
Ken, in the final Winston Cup practice yesterday, Harry Gant hit the wall hard in turn 2, destroyed his race car. He has had to go to a backup car. As a result of that, he has to move from second starting position all the way to the rear of the field. Cars have been having trouble all week into turns. Neil, what do you think's causing it?
Johnny, it should come as no surprise to us. We've seen it all week long here. Cars slipping and sliding all over the racetrack. In the past, they ran the bi-supply tire at Charlotte, which is a more forgiving tire. The radials are here now. These tires don't have any forgiving area. When the car slips a little bit, they break completely loose, the cars are gone. There's another factor compounding the whole problem we have here. Up in turn 4, the track is virtually slipping down. There's ripples all through the corner. The track painted a little red line so you can avoid it, but you can't avoid them at 160 miles an hour. Along with the radials, dodging the ripples, they're going to have their hands full. We're going to have to see if these drivers can negotiate those two problems at the same time all day long.
Let's meet some more of our broadcasting team right now and go to the STP Pit Center. Standing by is Mike Joy.
Thank you, Ken. This is a festive day, but with a somber tone. 22-year-old Rob Moroso, the Busch Grand National champion and the leading Winston Cup rookie driver, died late last Sunday night in a two-car highway accident. Tammy Williams, the driver of the other car involved, also perished. We mourn their loss today on the kind of day Rob Moroso liked best, a race day in the Carolinas. Let's go now to the front of this starting grid, to the editor and publisher of National Speed Sport News, Chris Economaki.
Well, thank you, Mike. I'm alongside the man in the car that was the machine and driver to watch in May. Is this driver-car combination, Brett Bodine, going to be the car to watch today?
Well, we hope so, Chris. You know, the Quaker State Buick ran so good here in the World 600 and came up a little short to making it to the end, and we don't want that to happen today. We got to make it all the way to the 500-mile grind, and hopefully we're the first guy to cross that start-finish line.
Brett, with the focus on the championship between Dale Earnhardt and Mark Martin, which one of those two men are you concerned about most?
Well, I think Mark is going to run extremely good, and you know that Dale is going to run good anywhere he goes. I'm not concerned about just those two cars. I got 39 other guys behind me that are running awful good, and we've got to worry about all of them. And, you know, it's the kind of race that you got to be around at the end, and you got to have a good combination at the end. Hopefully we'll have it with the Quaker State Buick.
We'll be watching. Now let's go back up pit road to my globe-girdling colleague, Bob Varsha.
Thanks, Chris. Dale Earnhardt brings his famous black Chevrolet number 3 here to Charlotte with a chance to become the richest driver in Speedway history. More important, he trails Ford driver Mark Martin by just 16 points for a possible 4th Winston Cup championship and its $1 million bonus. But Charlotte has not been kind to him, particularly this race. Dropping out, being the first man out last year, cost him a shot at the title. His last 9 starts here have yielded an average finish 21. Dale, what's it going to take to get your recent run of bad luck turned around here in the 500?
Finishing up front. I don't know. We've had bad luck here, but still, it's not one of our worst racetracks. It's one of our better ones. I always run good, or the car is competitive here. So, if we just can stay out of trouble and not have any bad luck with the car itself, we've, gotten wrecks here and broken camshafts and engines and things, and just keep that bad luck away. I think we'll be okay.
Your title rival Mark Martin starts 5 rows ahead. Will you be watching him or just going for the checkers?
Well, I think I got a lot of other guys right around me I need to watch to start with. If it's been like the last several races, we ought to come down to racing that 6 car at the end. So that's what I'm looking forward to, the end of the race.
Have a safe race, Dale. You've met the Chevy half of this classic Chevy-Ford confrontation. Now let's go meet the Ford star with Chris Economaki.
Well, I'm with Mark Martin, the man who's leading the point battle in the closest fight for the championship in NASCAR history. As this green flag waves today, Mark, what is going to be primarily on your mind?
Well, just finding the spot to run and let the racetrack get it in condition that it's going to be in for the most of the race, and then relay to the crew what the car feels like and what we need to do to adjust to it. This racetrack is very temperamental to the sun and to the heat, and we figure it'll be a chassis game all day long, working on the chassis.
What about that championship? That in the back of your mind?
Well, if we can win this race, we'll take care of the points thing. If we can't, we always do the best we can to take the Folgers Thunderbird to victory lane, and that's what's on our mind. The points will take care of themselves.
Well, good luck to Mark Martin. Let's go back now to Mike Joy.
They fire the engines out on the grid. Upstairs, Neil Bonnet, resident premier driver expert, and I've got my own ringer here in the STP Pit Center, championship crew chief Barry Dodson. Barry, they're driving as fast as they can every race. It's pit strategy and pit stops that are winning a lot of these races.
It is going to be, Mike. The difference here today, the radial tire, something we didn't have in May. We're right in the midst of a duel for the championship. Also, you got a lot of good teams, a lot of good drivers that need to win.
And Barry will have his unique viewpoint with us as the afternoon goes on. You've met our commentary team, save one. Let's go all the way to the other side of the fence. And Mark Pfister.
Thank you very much, Mike. There's over 150,000 plus fans packed into the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Mello Yello 500 today. They come from, 50 different states, a dozen different countries, and they're ready for a great race. Now, if you know somebody who's here from Hawaii, we've yet to meet anybody from Hawaii or Alaska, give us a call, give us their seat number, and we'll be looking for them, and we'll talk to them on the air later on this afternoon. Ken?
Boy, he's asking for a job and a half.
I think it was 13A in Section G.
Well, there you see the field, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll show you how they qualified and then tell you the remainder of that story in a moment. Here's how they'll line up for the Mello Yello 500 here this afternoon. The pole sitter for the first time in his career, it's Brett Bodine in that Buick of Kenny Bernstein. Outside of the front row, the 1982 winner, Harry Gant, car number 33 Oldsmobile. Going to row 2, there you have Ernie Irvin, who is the hottest driver going these days, and that's Chevy, car number 4. Ken Schrader, defending champion of this event, car number 25 for Hendrick Racing. In row 3, Davey Allison's there, leading Ford candidate today. And beside Davey, there you find Mark Martin in that Ford that currently leads the Winston Cup standings. For row 4, Jeff Bodine driving the Junior Johnson Ford, number 11. And outside of him comes car number 66, the Pontiac of Dick Trickle, Cale Yarborough's car. Row 5 this afternoon needs no introduction, the great Bill Elliott from Dawsonville, Georgia. And alongside there is Hut Strickland in the Bobby Allison, car number 12. Bobby had his share of wins here. Hut Strickland hoping to do the same this afternoon. The remainder of the starting field has Dale Jarrett and Rusty Wallace locked up in row number 6. Going to row 7, there you have Derek Cope, 2 wins this year, and Rick Wilson in the 75 car. In row 8, it's Dale Earnhardt settling down for a busy afternoon, the 1988 winner, and Ricky Rudd. Row 9 is the rookie, Jack Pennington, and starting beside him, the 75 and 83 winner, Richard Petty. For row 10, Texas Terry Labonte and Kyle Petty, who's won the 600 here, And Sterling Marlin, who won yesterday's 300-mile Grand National race. Larry Pearson's back in car number 41 as well. In row 12, Jimmy Hensley settles down in the Moroso car, and Mickey Gibbs beside him. Darrell Waltrip comes up next, the 1981 winner, and beside him is Buddy Baker, who won it back in 1967. In row 14 is Rick Mast out of Rockbridge, Baths, Virginia, and Nashville, Tennessee's Bobby Hamilton. Then row 15 is Phil Parsons and Jimmy Horton today. Going to the 16th row, Chad Little from out in the Northwest, and two Northwestern drivers for that matter. Chuck Bound, currently leading the Grand National points, moving to Winston Cup next year, gets a chance this afternoon to try it out. Row 17 is Morgan Shepherd and Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer. For row 18, Jimmy Means and Michael Waltrip well back today. Row 19 is Eddie Bierswell and Bobby Hillen in the car number 8. In row 20, it's Dave Marcus and Mark Stahl, and the provisional starter is Alan Kowicki. Now remember that the man who qualified outside of the front row lost his car yesterday. Harry Gant now relegated to the rear of the field as they get set for a start. Ken Schrader trying to win this race this afternoon in car number 25, make it back-to-back. Only 3 other drivers in history have done that.
Ken, something has happened that I think can change the whole complexion of the race. It's become real cloudy. We practiced all week in the sunshine. Everything's been nice, hot sunshine. Now it's getting cloudy.
Great assortment of cultural events take place here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway as part of the warm-up to this great race we're about to see in this extraordinary time. And here's the 1990 entry into the annual H.A. Wheeler Film Festival. Sparkling performance by Sparky Spangler, falling about 200 feet. You know, they give Emmys and they give Grammys, they give Oscars. Well, here, for H.A. Humpy Wheeler, the man who puts it all together, they give the Humpty Dumpty Award. Here's this year's winner, Brian Carson. Note the subtlety of this performance.
Looks like my old buddy Don Perdome started some of his top fuel cars.
He walked away, folks, and wants to come back and try it again, because he did hit the end of the receiving ramp trying to jump 300 feet in a Cadillac Seville. Unbelievable. All right, now you see the new assortment of the front row as Schrader moves up. They just move up that outside row, leaving Brett Bodine on the pole for the first time and Schrader alongside as we settle down for a start and come to the line. And the action now gets real serious here for 334 laps. Stand by for TBS live coverage of the Mello Yello 500 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Drivers have won this race from the pole. Bodine trying to make it 6. Lorenzen did it in 65. Blotzbach, Pearson, Waltrip, and most recently Harry Gant back in 1982 when he won his first super speedway race. For the moment, Brett Bodine in front. He ran here extremely strong a year ago. Here's the man to watch. Number 4 coming to the bottom. Ernie Irvin. And they stack him up 3 wide as they fight him down the main straightaway. These pictures from car number 66. Trickle brings them by for the first time. Brett Bodine in the car number 26, falling back to Ernie Irvin up in front. The Chevy of Ernie Irvin, the Morgan McClure car, now goes into the lead. And guess who's tacking along? As you watch now with Brett Bodine in second spot, pole car, carrying the Quaker State in-car camera coming down the main straightaway. This is the battle for the lead, completing lap 2.
Ernie certainly didn't waste any time showing what he had, so he's going to probably go out, try to lead a little bit, then try to take care of that car because that car is really strong, Neil.
Third is Davey Allison, and then Neil back there in 4th for the moment. Martin trying to skedaddle on through. There's Bodine in the 11th car, and they've shuffled Martin back. Drops back 2 or 3 spots in here. Here's Earnhardt charging to the inside on Ricky Rudd in number 5.
Well, the track, you know, Ken, what we're going to have to watch is, as John said earlier, the track's under different conditions. We went from the green flag from overcast to sun out now. It's going to switch back and forth all day. But early in this race, these guys will be sorting these cars out. It's a long way to go, but Ernie Irvin sure is showing a lot of strength early.
Ricky Rudd on a tear, the number 3 car, moving up through traffic. Right with him comes Earnhardt.
This part of the track right here is what all the guys are really having to deal with, all 4. We don't overemphasize it, but if that's the place that the guys are going to run fast, the key to getting around this racetrack is getting off turn 4 without any problem.
Up in front, it's Ernie Irvin and the number 4 car as he works the 5th lap with Brett Bodine in the 2nd spot of the Buick. 4 to Davey Allison continuing for 3rd down the back straightaway. Swapping positions. There's the leader. There's 2nd place in turn 4. Trickiest part of the track. And you see them beginning to battle now for 2nd place. Davey Allison is getting challenged by Bill Elliott. Here you are riding with Bodine as he tries to close in again on Ernie Irvin.
Ernie had made the statement earlier in the week with all this points battle going on. He thought he had a shot at winning the race, and he wants to assert that car right now and prove that point.
Look who's moved to 3rd. Bill Elliott coming up. Davey Allison falls to 4th. Number 9, Elliott into 3rd. Elliott on the charge. He started 9th on the event. Now up in 3rd place for the lead.
Ken, I think a lot of fans wondering, where did Brett Bodine come from? Why is he all of a sudden so awesome? Did he find a miracle? Yeah, I think he did. And the miracle's name is Jim Ruggles. He headed up the Buick V6 program for the Sportsman Racing, Busch Grand National cars. And now he's concentrating his time on the 26 car driven by Brett Bodine.
Great battle for the lead. 3 cars in the fight. Here comes Bodine back on the inside. Irvin runs wheel to wheel with him. Elliott pulls up. Allison just behind him in the black car. Ernie Irvin goes back in front. Ernie Irvin, what's the biggest thing you've learned this year on the Winston Cup circuit?
Well, the biggest thing I've learned is the same thing I forget real easy, and that's patience. I learned patience, and that's the hardest thing I've learned in my career racing. But it's the quickest thing you can forget. So as long as I can keep my head on straight and keep thinking, I think we can win more races.
Back to the line comes Bodine in 1st, and down comes Elliott for 2nd. Irvin back to 3rd.
Ken, these race fans have got to be eating us up here. There's 2 General Motors cars, 2 Ford product cars going at it. Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, right in the middle of this.
In the back straightaway, it's front 5 cars now. Allison, Bodine, Strickland getting it. There's Richard Petty. He's just completed 25,000 miles of competition at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. As he came through lap number 7, completed 25,000 miles in this track. Richard Petty working his way through the field after a good qualifying run. We'll follow his story this afternoon here in the Mello Yello 500. Up in front, it continues to be Brett Bodine, Bill Elliott, Ernie Irvin, Davey Allison, Jeff Bodine fighting it out. We'll be back with more of the excitement of the Mello Yello 500 on TBS in a moment.
Yes, true. We have true. You want True Value and Timex?
But Strickland's getting right in the middle of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Neil Hutt's car is really running. He's moving right up there.
One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Later in today's race, somebody by default will win going to do True Value and then a Timex audio mention. Yes, sir. Okay. At Charlotte Motor Speedway, quick look at the True Value Hard Charger standings for the season. Earnhardt with a commanding lead, unlike the Winston Cup point chase. Today's hardest charger gets $1,500 from True Value hardware stores. Also, we'll be looking with our Timex Speed Track for the Timex fastest lap of this 500-mile race. While we were away in commercial break, Bill Elliott took his Ford to the bottom of the racetrack underneath Brett Bodine. Coming up out of 4, made this pass for the lead. Elliott now is stretching it out on the field. Let's go back to live action with Ken Squire.
As they work the 15th lap, back to live action, and here is Elliott in front and drawing away from the field, getting a tremendous advantage, a bit of a surprise in the early going, as Ernie Irvin's number 4 stays in second place, down now about 35 car lengths to the leader. There is Irvin in that Kodak car, number 4, running in second, and then the number 26, the Quaker State car, Brett Bodine, followed by Davey Allison, and number 12, Hut Strickland, is on the charge. The Rebestis Buick, developed by Bobby Allison, has pulled itself into 5th position.
In the 7 car driven by Alan Kowicki, the 33 car driven by Harry Gant, who started all the way at the back, are up to 20 and 21st position right now, so those cars are working well, moving through the front.
Here you see Bill Elliott up in front, running on radials today. Goodyear radials are making their Charlotte debut this weekend. Hopes what Bill Elliott had to say about the future of radial tires. A little more than hope going right here as he continues to draw away from the field. The car is working perfectly. Takes a lot more than hope to make that happen. Second spot is Ernie Irvin. Third spot is Bodine. Fourth is Strickland. Fifth is Davey Allison. And 6th is Schrader.
Ken, Bill Elliott has always been a dominant car at this racetrack, and I think he did hit the perfect setup. But it does not surprise me to see a Ford or Bill Elliott leading this race.
This track has had characteristics for the Ford engine for the past few years that the cars really accelerate off the corner here. Bill had a good combination, and it seemed like the track changed a little bit. For a few races, Bill was off, but they've got it back on track now.
Elliott clambering down to get around Bobby Hamilton and put him a lap down. Bobby Hamilton showing his new colors, so he'll be flying in 1991 in Winston Cup racing.
We just got word that car 57 has a tire going flat, and I'm sure he's going to try to wait for a caution if something should happen, but if he can't, if something to happen quick, he's going to come in on his own and get it corrected.
Jimmy Spencer, number 57, having a tire problem.
Again, that's one thing that you get into with the radios. The tires are so strong feeling that you can have a tire going low and run on the inner liner for a while, the inner tire, and if you're not careful, the thing will blow out. And, you know, he's going to have to be careful to see if he can get in with this thing.
Let's take a look at this battle a little further back. Here's the 27 car. That's Rusty Wallace. He's working in 8th spot. With him is Bodine, and now Wallace has just moved around Bodine. That's for 7th. Wallace in the black car is in 7th. And look at the wigwag. Goes Wallace. Jeff Bodine to the inside, trying to take that spot.
Ken, I think that's a perfect example with the weather change, the cloud cover. A lot of these real good Winston Cup cars, points leaders, are just not working real well under these conditions, and they're just hoping to get a chance coming down pit road to make the changes they need to make.
75 car is running in 9th, Rick Wilson, and Ricky Rudd is in 10th. Continue to follow this battle for 7th spot. It's a dandy. Wallace in number 27, Bodine in 11, swapping it back and forth. 20 laps complete.
You also have to understand when you run side by side that way, you slow all cars down so that gives the leader a chance to pull further away from you. These cars need to get in single file, but they're not going to lift because Bodine doesn't want Rusty by him, and Rusty doesn't want Bodine by him.
And notice that the 6th car is tailing these columns here. Mark Martin is running in 11th place. Dale Earnhardt is currently in 14th.
You know, that's Ken, that right there with Mark sitting like he is, that's kind of his characteristic, their game plan, to stay in the hunt and then to come on up here at the end of the race. What the concern should be that Earnhardt is not making the move that you think he would early. He always goes to the front. He's not been able to do that.
The other one making the move is Waltrip. He started in 25th. He's now up challenging out here just behind the 27. Notice the old Tide car right there. That's Darrell Waltrip thrashing through this group. Trying to come 3 wide, down to the inside. Waltrip with Wilson right in front of him. As they come by, the 27 Wallace stays 7th, Bodine is 8th, Rudd is 9th, Wilson 10th, Waltrip now 11th. Mark Martin is backed up to 13th. Kyle Petty has taken 12th. I don't think that Mark's car is working as well as he might wish.
I don't think so either, but in the same shot right here, we have Jeff Bodine, and he seems to be faltering a little bit. And yesterday afternoon in practice, he was probably the fastest car on the racetrack in practice, but we go right back to the same thing. We got a different day, different set of conditions for him.
We saw yesterday the racetrack change drastically almost every 30 minutes or every pit stop. And I think we're going to have the same kind of day here. There's going to be the people who win this race will be the people who have, like Barry Dodson as their crew chief, know how to adjust those race cars.
There's Kyle Petty in the 42, nipping down to the inside to pick up another spot. See the 27 car, Wallace in 7th. Rudd now comes to 8th in the number 5 car. And right behind him is Rick Wilson in the 75 Oldsmobile. And still charging. Up to 10th comes Darrell Waltrip from his 25th starting position.
It's fun to see Darrell running that well. We know he's recovering on a daily basis, but it's certainly good to see him have that kind of run.
Now here's Mark Martin in the 6th. Remember that he is running in 13th position. And he's trying to get around Bodine, and for good reason, because just a few car lengths behind him, number 3 Earnhardt is on the move. Battle for the championship. There you see the 3 car rolling right in there and getting a 1-car interval in between them. Mark Martin now 12th, Bodine 13th, and Earnhardt 14th. I want to review the points for you sometime this afternoon if you're new to Winston Cup racing as to how they're collected. And here we are going into the last races of the season, 16 points apart. Earnhardt the challenger to Mark Martin the leader.
Again, this is a little bit different. It's been easy to keep up with the points battle for the last few weeks, last 3 or 4, because the 3 and the 6 car have been the leaders of the race virtually all the time. This is the first time in about a month that these guys haven't been on the point. They're struggling a little bit, and the rest of the guys are getting away.
Dale Earnhardt, 3-time Winston Cup champion. Bill Elliott, 1988 Winston Cup champion, stays in front of Brett Bodine, the pole sitter. Elliott just running away from the field, collecting better than 2.5 seconds in the early going. Now 28 laps complete, and he's on a thrash.
Hey, Bill Elliott's mother, Mildred, attended this race. Shortly afterwards, she had a devastating stroke that has left her in very bad condition. She's slowly recovering, and she's here today to watch Bill. This is her first race since this event 1 year ago. Bill is giving her something to be happy about.
He certainly is, as he now builds his advantage over second place, Brett Bodine, to better than 3 seconds as they work the 30th lap, with Ernie Irvin maintaining 3rd, Ken Schrader in 4th, and Hut Strickland doing an outstanding job in the early going at 5th. Davey Allison 6th, and Wallace is in 7th. Here at the Mello Yello 500, live coverage on TBS of this Winston Cup Classic.
Kowicki's flying to the front.
On a clock, first to third, second. 1 to 2. Good. Thank you. There are 33 laps complete, 33 laps down of 334 as TBS Sports brings you live coverage of the Mello Yello 500 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Bill Elliott now ranges 5 seconds in front of the field. Brett Bodine is in the runner-up spot with Ken Schrader third, Ernie Irvin fourth. It's Ford, Buick, Chevy, Ford on the top 5 leaderboard now. Elliott continuing to draw away from the field and about to put a lap on the number 44 Bob Tulia's car as he goes into turn number 1, demonstrating great running ability here. Running it harder than we've ever seen him go this early in a race. Must feel good.
Ken, you know, this is kind of a surprise. We've been points battle, this guy fast, that guy fast. Elliott just slipped out there and decided to drive off from the field. He's got that thing rolling right along.
One thing is important for everybody to understand, Bill Elliott found the combination about 6 or 7 races ago, and he's been real competitive everywhere he's been. Ran great on the short tracks. I expect him to run super the rest of the year and wouldn't be surprised to see him get another couple wins.
Running on radial tires for the first time at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Here's what Elliott has to say about them.
Well, I think the future is very good for the radial. It's just that we need to learn a lot more about the tire, and you know, we've had some good running on it. We've learned a lot about it this season. You know, we still got a lot to learn about it, but I think we're coming along very well.
Apparently, he's learned something some others haven't from the way it's going here at this point. Dick Trickle giving us this helmet con shot. See the number 20 in memory of Robbie Moroso. Look at him bounce over that number 4 area, Neil.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about. There's ripples right there coming off the 4th turn. And if anybody thinks it's nice, smooth, it looks nice and smooth, but there's a good indication. A lot of times the shot from inside the car is a fixed camera that's mounted solidly. This right here is what the torso of the driver is doing. It's bouncing around the entire time. This is mounted on top of his helmet, and it's virtually up and down. If you follow the car right in here, the car is going to really move around in about 100 yards. Right here, the car really gets to bouncing. And that's the thing that's been giving the drivers a fit all week long. Getting lined up over those ripples, good straight shot.
The thing I love about that, Neil Bonnet's just eating his heart out because he's not out there and says how much fun it is to do that. And that really does not look, I just don't know how that can be that much fun, Neil.
Well, you see the angle we're on right there sideways. The world's straight to me now. I can't recognize anything. I always look at it sideways.
That was Dick Trickle back to 21st in the early going. Now notice change in position. Up in front, Ken Schrader, defending champion, who started 4th. He brings the Rick Hendrick Chevrolet up into 2nd spot. Brett Bodine's Buick falls to 3rd, the green and white number 26. And from Bodine's vantage, see how they look down the back straightaway.
This shot right here shows you what good shock absorbers these race cars have. Here's the car with all the suspension stuff absorbing it, the driver doing the bouncing around. But these guys, evidently this car here is when it's set on the pole. They've certainly got the right combination.
And you could see his hands didn't move as bad. He didn't seem to be bouncing as much. I think Trickle's car's not working as well as his car is.
And Bodine was, Trickle was running a much higher line than we're seeing Bodine. Bodine is much closer to the bottom of the racetrack down there in Ford than what we saw out of Dick Trickle in '66.
When your race car is running good like this car set on the pole, you can drive the car. But whenever the car's off, the car drives you. Trickle has got a car carrying him around.
Alan Kowicki's been the man of the move of recent in car number 7. Remember, he started all the way out back. Look at Kowicki now as he moves around Jeff Bodine in car number 11 and comes into 13th spot. This is from dead last. It's been green all the way if you're just joining us. And Kowicki, who started as a provisional starter, worked his way up into the 13th position.
That doesn't surprise anyone on pit road. Alan Kowicki was one of the fastest cars in practice, and everyone thought he may have a shot at sitting on the pole, but he had trouble with his car when he went out to qualify. Never really got to run a lap, so that's why. And then second round was canceled, so he had to start at the back of the race, but he really has a good race car.
Well, I'll tell you what, Alan has the track record at this racetrack, the overall track record. And like you were talking about, John, they thought he had a shot at the pole.
Here you see Ernie Irvin putting a lap on Mickey Gibbs in the days in 01, putting him down a lap. That is the Irvin car that's running in 5th spot. There you see Hut Strickland running in 6th. And a good battle continues to develop for 18th place. There's rather 8th place, as you see, number 17. That's Darrell Waltrip around Ricky Rudd. Waltrip from 25th up to 8th. Rudd from 16th up to 9th. Wallace from the 27, the black car, from 12th up to 10th. Running 10th here in the frame.
Ken, Jimmy Spencer did finally come down pit road. He's on pit road now with that tire going down. He did have to stay out. He waited and waited, but he finally had to come in.
So Darrell Waltrip, who took great pride today in the fact that he started out to be introduced to the crowd on crutches, and he finally said to heck with it, picked the crutch up and waved it at folks. He got a great response. Doesn't need any crutch out here right now.
We were talking about Mrs. Ellett being here. Mrs. Waltrip, I saw her at the hotel last night, and it was really neat to see her again. She looked great, such a sweet lady. So Darrell's mother and father are here and doing well. So I think these boys are doing a little bit for their mamas today.
Bill Elliott is doing it to the 9s at the present time. He is leading and continuing to draw away. His advantage, amazing for the early going in this race. 334 laps will mark the distance. Here is Rudd coming back around another time in car number 5 to 8th position. Waltrip falls back to 9th and into the clutches of Rusty Wallace. Just behind him, you see Rick Wilson running 11th in the car number 75. And there goes the black, number 27. That's Wallace taking the high side, closing in on Waltrip. Record speed for this race, 149.8 mile an hour average just a year ago by Schrader. Waltrip coming back on the inside of that Chevrolet. And the Hendrick cars running almost side by side. He elects to just nip back in behind number 5 as they cross the stripe to complete their 46th lap.
Everyone better get going as fast as they can and not take it easy, because Bill Elliott is coming quick and he's getting ready to lap a bunch of good cars.
When you come to a racetrack like this, it's a handling racetrack. It just takes one guy hitting on the right combination. He can bury half of the field. If it wasn't for Bill Elliott, the other guys are so far back to be very few cars lapped. Elliott is capable of lapping a lot of real good race cars until they get that first caution and get their cars dialed up back in.
Look what's happening here. Mark Martin is getting into the frame. Mark Martin to the bottom, out of turn 4, as he begins to fight his way up on Wallace. The 6th car running 11th.
Ken, you know, we were talking earlier about it seemed like Mark was laying back a little bit. They're calling him on the radio, I'm sure, telling him every lap how far back or what Bill's closing up. And when a guy can make a move like this, that shows you he's got a little bit left. They're pacing themselves right now.
Darrell Waltrip made his comeback in Richmond just 4 weeks ago on a TBS telecast after a wreck in Daytona back in July. We asked him why he got back in his race car without being fully healed.
We don't have to carry our cars. We just ride in them. And I think, I don't know if that's a good analogy or not. I know football players,
certainly play hurt with fractures and strains and bruises. And basketball players, even golfers, you know, they play with bad backs. Tennis players play with bad elbows. So I think it just, maybe they're more obvious here because of the crutches and the limping that goes around with the injuries we have. But I think most athletes that are really dedicated to what they do, care about what they do, love what they do, they perform hurt a lot more than the average person may realize.
You know, we're very lucky right now to have Barry Dodson down in the pits, and I'm sitting there looking at the leaderboard, and we ran 50 laps. Barry, how long can these guys go today on a fuel stop? When will we be looking at these guys come in on a green stop?
Neil, we're going to be looking at like from 55 to 60 laps, I think. The thing you got to be concerned about with the radial tires, it's tighter staggered. For any of these cars that are pushing, like the one of Rusty Wallace right now, that mileage is going to go down, and that's something you cannot calculate.
Well, you know, with that going on, we're going to be seeing these guys come in the next 5 or 6 laps, and a lot of times they come in early the first time to make sure they don't run out of fuel on a big old racetrack like this. So they'll be coming up pretty quick with their normal pit stops.
Remember, we were talking about the great run that was being made by Kowicki. Take a look at number 33. Here's Gant, who had qualified on the outside of the front row in the number 33 car. Well, now he's pulled himself up to 15th spot. He's challenging number 11's Jeff Bodine for 14th, and he's just burned him.
Well, Harry Gant told me this morning that he was disappointed he crashed the other car, but this is old Alf, his old favorite car that he's won 2 races with. And he says, boy, it's going to be good to get back no Alf again. I think we'll have a shot at him. He said, if we can't run from the back to the front, we won't go do anything anyway, so we might as well get out there and go after it. So he was not disappointed or down. He was looking forward to it.
Johnny, you think he's putting his whip to Alf? He's better too.
Yeah, Alf's coming. He's got that dog rolling.
Harry Gant up to 14th position. Bill Elliott continues to lead with Schrader in second. More from Charlotte shortly.
Dale's about a quarter of the straightaway to get the land.
Yeah.
Stay where you are, buddy. Stay where you are. Stay where you are.
Got all kind of static. You
get static? Mine's working good. Neil's got static in his headset, he says. An interval 1 to 2, first to second. Well, here you see Bill Elliott leading at the 57th lap of the 334 laps to be run in the Mello Yello 500 at Charlotte Motor Speedway as Richard Petty comes on pit road for right side rubber. The lead is a healthy one, better than 4 seconds. Elliott over Schrader. There's Petty's number 43 on pit road, getting service now and getting back out to this race as we watch number 11. The Bodine car in 16th position, challenged by Dick Trickle, and from our Trop Arctic onboard camera, back in 17th spot, the challenge for 16th. Great picture of what they're going through as they cover this 1.5 mile track. Big trickle back once again. Up on that 17-degree banking, closing in another time. Working to the inside.
Rusty Wallace is just coming down pit road, so all the top cars are starting to qualify. Here's one of the best pit crews in motorsports.
Chris Economaki is there.
Wow, they're making a chassis adjustment on the left rear of Wallace's car. The fuel is going in, and taxi. Right side tire changes. And there he goes, and that was a quick fuel stop for Rusty Wallace, the defending Winston Cup champion. Back to the booth.
When he came in, he was in 10th position. Buddy Baker is pitting.
Rusty just changed 2 tires. A couple people before he changed 4. Be interesting to see if these top cars take 2 or 4.
It seems like the radials, even though they've had some trouble with the tires getting away from them a little bit, there's good wear with the tires. There's not a lot of difference in the speed with Ewins over you, so 2 tires might be the way to go for a while.
Well, I think a lot of these teams will take 2 and hope that Bill Elliott takes 4 because he has a big lead, so that will help them get away from him a little bit.
There's the leader catching up Bobby Hillen going down the backside. Here is Davey Allison on pit road. Brett Bodine is in. Mickey Gibbs. There's Derek Coates, number 10, coming down off the jacks. Mark Martin is now pitting car number 6. Mark Martin in, was running 10th. Chris is there.
Again, the chassis adjustment on the left rear corner of Mark Martin's car, which means he's not happy with his handling. Right side touch, almost went over the hose. That would be a penalty, but he didn't, and he's off on a fine stop.
I'll tell you, that was a minor adjustment. It looked like about 1 round in the left rear, so when you're off bad, you can crank that thing a lot. Evidently, they're off just a tick, and they're trying to fine-tune that thing only where they want it.
Ricky Rudd is pitting. Here you see Schrader on pit road. Hensley pitting the number 20 car. Earnhardt may be getting ready to come in. Reported he may have a bit of a problem. Kowicki is in on the number 7 car, and he's been in there a little long.
He's the only one I've seen so far going 4 tires. Put 4 tires on Kowicki's car.
Here's Alan Kowicki coming out as Ernie Irvin pits. Morgan Shepherd has been in. This is all under green, and we're now working the 62nd lap.
I would say Barry Duncan called that. I don't know what he was talking about. But, I think they were listening to him. Here comes Earnhardt down pit road wide open.
Now watch his pit crew works. I'm going to bet he's going to change 2.
Bob Barcher's there.
Dale Earnhardt overshoots the pit just a bit. That's not going to make it easy on Kirk Shelmerdine and the boys. He's suffering from a bad push. He hasn't lost positions, but he is definitely losing ground because Bill Elliott is absolutely flying. Elliott's expected in shortly, and Earnhardt is going to have to get that car out. Now he stalls it. Earnhardt is now in Elliott's pit. Now he's fired it away.
That was Richard Childress on the left rear, and as we were talking about, Mark Martin went 1 round. Childress cranked on it to the car left, so they're off a good little bit.
Leader coming down pit road, number 9. Elliott rolls in. Trickle is also pitted now.
Now, if you're a car owner, you're hoping he's going to change 4 tires.
Bob Barcher's waiting on Bill Elliott.
Bill Elliott pulls the Coors Milling Ford to a stop, and the crew goes to work. A drink for the race leader. Not many adjustments that I can see. They're going to put the tires in. They're going to fill it up with gasoline. Elliott is setting an absolutely scalding pace here today. He's got a full load. He's away. I make that stop about 13 seconds.
Bob Barcher, I would doubt to say that if anybody turned a wrench on that car, they'd probably spank their little fingers. He's running to good full away. They don't need any work.
And he did just change 2 tires, so who wants to go out there and lap a bunch of these other cars? So the people that changed 4, they're going to be in big trouble.
Harry Gant has just pitted to 33. Here's Waltrip after this very stout run in the early going. He comes in at lap 64. Let's go to Mike Joy.
Barry Dodson will take a look at this pit stop with us and call it as the tie crew goes to work.
Okay, it looks like 2 tires, Mike. I don't see any chassis adjustment. Darrell was doing a great job moving from the back to the front.
How do you make that call, 2 tires or 4?
Well, Bill Elliott could afford to take on 4. The thing is, his car was good enough. If he got a lap down, he could make it up. That's the thing. When you're running as well as he is, you can dictate the race.
So a good running car in this situation, first pit stop would get only 2.
Exactly.
Okay, and that's the word from one of the sport's premier crew chiefs.
Barry don't also, in a situation like that, that's the time to bury him too. When you're that good, go ahead and push him off. His car's spinning off the 4th turn.
Jimmy Means getting caught by car number 11, Jeff Bodine, and spun. Windshield popping out of Jimmy Means' automobile just about 300 feet shy of the start-finish line. Caution is out at lap 66.
Now where do we stand with the pit stops? The 26 car and some of those guys I don't think have been down pit road. Did they lap some of the leaders? We'll have to have this thing shaken out and see who's down.
Going to be interesting. Just after the majority of cars had come in and made a green flag stop, we get a caution as Jimmy Means gets tagged by the number 11 of Bodine and spun just a little way out of turn 4. There's Bodine coming back to the line. Let's look at the replay, Neil, and see what happens here.
When we picked it up, the 11 car had already capped the rear of Jimmy Means. Looked like Jeff was just low. They got together and he gave him a little shove there. The car gets backward, the windshield blows out of it there.
Well, Jimmy Means is back underway. There is a full course caution. Let's take a look from another angle.
Looked like Jeff got a good strong run up off the corner. Got in the rear. Jimmy turned him around right there. It's hard to tell what the set of circumstances were leading into it, but it maybe ran up on him in a hurry, or maybe even Jimmy was getting ready to turn down pit road.
67 laps are complete. We are now under caution here in the Mello Yello 500 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Back with more live action in a moment. Huh? Yeah. Go to my what, Fred? Yeah. Yep.
What did you say to do? I was off with the headset.
That was a conversation with Neil Bonnet, the tape piece.
Okay.
To fold these over, because when they get taped down, it messes up this. Okay, thank you. I have that lead now in my hand, Fred.
Where's my note sheet?
Car's smoking real bad, as good as he's been running there, but they're looking at the transmission and everything.
Yeah. Back with you once again here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Hut Strickland has just pitted car number 12, the Allison car, after it had such a good strong run earlier. First caution of the day after an incident in turn number 4. Jimmy Means got turned around by what was the lead car at the time, Jeff Bodine. You know, in our business we get to talk to a lot of athletes, and that's fun. But it's different, wonderfully different, when a driver talks to one of his own. Our intrepid Neil Bonnet set off with camera crew in tow, and here's the result.
Dale, it seems like every year you're right in the middle of this points battle. You won this thing 3 times, and some of these battles have always kind of got out of control. You know, the deal with Walter, he'd make a few barbs, and you'd come back with him on things, and at times it got kind of out of hand. The fans would blow it all out of proportion, and it got to be just a fun deal for y'all. This is probably one of the cleanest points battles ever been. You and Mark get along real well, and it seems like the fans are just enjoying the racing without the bad side of it, and it's got to be a good feeling for you also.
I think it is. I think Mark and I have got a lot of mutual racing respect for each other. We're both competitive racers, and we didn't get under each other's skin, so to speak. Sort of like when you and I used to race a lot together. I know how far I can go with him, racing with him, and he knows how far he can go with me, and we respect each other for that, and we go on. You know, it's an enjoyable battle because of that. We're competitive. We both race each other hard, but yet we don't get too carried away. It's a good competitive battle, good clean battle.
One of the unique things about the points championship this year is in the past there's always been those little verbal barbs between the 2 or 3 guys who are in for the points battle. Earnhardt's been in those deals with Waltrip and stuff, and here you and Dale are in a battle week in and week out. You're the 2 guys that are sitting up front, mixing it up, having a race wide open, trying to not only win the championship, but win races. And y'all been able to do it without a lot of hard feelings. You're still good friends, and it's kind of unique to see that in a sport running this hard. If you can go down to the wire and one of you guys win the championship at the end without some hard feelings, it's going to be a trick.
Yeah, well, it's really going good on the racetrack. Dale has always been fair with me on the racetrack, and I've seen the way he deals with certain situations, and I don't put him in situations that I feel like would cause problems. As long as you race Dale Earnhardt clean, he'll race you clean, especially if you build a pattern. And we've built a pattern. And I see some other guys that have trouble with him every time that they get close to him. And I see why. And I'm going to try not to do that because our deal is we're going for the championship, and if it came to that, we'd have to get right in the middle of it and do it. And we don't want that. We want to race hard. We want this thing to go down like it's going and be great for everybody, for the sponsors, the manufacturers, the teams, the fans. This is the way it's supposed to be, and I think it'll continue this way. I don't foresee any problems.
You're a darn good reporter, Bonnet. Great interview. There you see those guys. There's the number 3 car in 19th position, Earnhardt. 20th, right behind him, Mark Martin. Remember, Martin leading by 16 points over Earnhardt as we come to this battle. Up in front now as they come around, completing 70 laps. Pace car is coming in. Front of the field looks like this. Bill Elliott will bring the field down to the line, leading. There's a car just in front of him, Bobby Hillen on the lead lap, but tail end of it. And then Schrader is second, Ernie Irvin third, Alan Kawicki fourth, Kyle Petty fifth, Morgan Shepherd sixth, Bodine seventh, that's Jeff. Brett Bodine 8th, Davey Allison 9th, Harry Gant 10th, Waltrip 11th, Sterling Marlin is in 12th with Rick Wilson 13th. There's the break.
Well, now we've got to make our adjustments on our race cars, and maybe we can see what these things are going to do for the rest of the day. But everybody got their first shot at trying to dial their car in.
You can see what the little 9 car is going to do. It's going to take off like it did earlier. They've got that car right. The job of everybody else in those pits is to get theirs as good as that car right there.
Are you surprised he's running as hard as he is? He's always been one to be very patient out here. You've never seen Elliott go that hard unless he had tremendous comfort, great comfort level in the car.
Yeah, that's what's misleading. Sometimes when you can do what he's doing to this field of race cars, you're not running the car hard. You're running a good pace. It's just easy to do. It's fast. The rest of the guys are running hard, trying to keep up.
That's what it looks like right now as you see Bill Elliott in the number 9 drawing away once again. A car length a lap at the present time. Schrader back there in the 25 car, just behind Hillen over lap number 8. And here's the remainder of the field, and there you see the 3 and the 6 trying to weave their way through this traffic.
Yeah, look at that mess. I think I'd drive real hard to be up there in the lead, not have to be in that junk. I mean, everybody's going everywhere.
A lot of times you hear people say they're in the points belt, they're going to be conservative. Does that look like conservatism in the middle of that traffic? I'd get to the front if I could.
But how do you do it? I mean, there's a car in every line. Now, you see how Earnhardt's going to do it, and he gets knocked around a little out there. The 41 car moving up into him. Larry Pearson out of Spartanburg, South Carolina, 2-time Grand National champion. Putting a little mark on number 3.
Let me tell you how smart Mark Martin is. He's right behind Earnhardt because he knows Earnhardt might hit something. He can just follow it through because Earnhardt always makes it through. So I think I'll just stay here with Dale.
Martin using Earnhardt for a dozer blade here as they cut through traffic. Here's the number 3 continuing to work its way up through. Getting around Michael Waltrip, that puts them 15th and 16th when the 6 car clears number 30. Michael pulling over a bit, realizing that he's got him horsepower.
I'm sure Dale just threw his hand up, motion for Mark. Come on, let's get him out of there.
75 laps complete, and with the amount of pressure, remember there's $1 million bonus And it's going to be decided between Earnhardt in the 3, Martin in the 6. And for those drivers to keep their poise under the kind of pressure exerted, getting bounced around out here at better than 175 miles an hour. Great credit to the sport and to these two individuals. Elliott has drawn away to a 35-car length in a matter of about 12 laps. Now you see Martin, there's Elliott in the 9 car going down into turn number 2. And he's just waving bye-bye to the rest of the field. Schrader back, Irvin 3rd, Kawicki 4th, Kyle Petty 5th. Look at that interval. John, that's incredible.
Well, he is hooked up, no doubt about it. But like I say, let's don't give it to him yet, because these things keep changing. Weather conditions change. Now the sun's come out a little bit. It's peeking in and out, so it does change track conditions.
And at this part of the racetrack, when you see Bill Elliott right now, that little Ford motor is turning about 8,000 RPM. And you got a lot of mechanical pieces there that's going to see them for a long time to go yet. That's one thing we haven't touched on. We used to come to these tracks and you had Ford track, Chevrolet track. These factories have went to work. They built, the Ford guys built a head that would run on the short track. Chevrolet built one that run on the big tracks. There's no such thing as a Chevrolet out RPM or Ford out torquing. These guys can move their power range where they want to. This car right here is just handling. This is a handling racetrack. He's doing just that.
Let's go to the STP pit center and Mike Joy.
Elliott took the right combination, Ken, and that is tougher to find. With bias ply tires, you blow up that outside rear to get more stagger on the back of the car. But Barry, it's a different situation with these radials.
It is, Mike. Here you have a tire 1.25 inches bigger. You could inflate, you could deflate. We made it 1.25 inches bigger, so it got around the corner. This is what happens with a radial. 5/8 built into the tire. Nothing you can do about it. You can put all the air in the world. You can do away with all the air in the world. This is what the car wants to do when it goes in the corner. A gradual turn, so that's what's happening. These teams are loosening these cars up to make up for that. Once you slip, you're in trouble.
That right setup is so hard to find, but Elliott's got it nailed right now.
Here's what you need, Neil. You need that crew chief. Neil is up here driving this race right beside us here, and you need him down up here with you.
Yeah, a lot of times I sure wish I had Barry Dodson. Everybody needs him on his team, but right there, the radial thing has really got people scrambling. And as Barry said, people try more air pressure, less air pressure. It doesn't do anything to stagger. Sometimes it's like spring rate to change a little bit, but we're back now to work with springs and shocks. It's awful tough to make them work.
Let's talk to another crew chief right now. Bob Barsher standing by with one of the best.
Fellas, Dale Earnhardt is out there fighting a very ill-handling race car. Richard Childress is calling the shots of the fifth. Richard, were you able to get his handling problem sorted out?
No, we don't know. We hadn't had any good clear laps yet, but he hadn't said anything. The car has been real tight off the 4 over here, and it's just killing the engine coming off the corner.
What you're seeing of Bill Elliott thus far, you think you're going to be able to deal with him before the day is done?
I don't know. He's been awful strong all week in practice. We know this is going to be tough today.
I want to make one thing perfectly clear. Again, Richard plays like he calls all the shots, but Kirk Shelmerdine is really the crew chief and calls all the shots. But he lets Richard stand there because he's got all the money and pays him, and he'll let him wear that little headset.
TV time goes to Richard.
Yeah, Richard can have TV. Kirk Shelmerdine is the man.
Here comes that number 9 car back in front, by building an even greater margin as we watch the 6 car clearing Buddy Baker in the 90. And that 6 car, Martin in 14th, Earnhardt just in front of him in 13th, Rick Wilson 12th, Darrell Waltrip is in 11th. We're at 82 laps complete. So Elliott draws away to 3.5 seconds over second place Schrader, working lap 83 here in the Mello Yello 500 live on TBS.
never seen him shot, did he?
Thank you. Unbelievable. Looking off the backside of car number 26, Brett Bodine running in 7th as Davey Allison in the 28 and 8th, and Harry Gant try to close up on him out there. We've completed 87 laps. We're at the Charlotte Motor Speedway live on TBS. The $700,000 Mello Yello 500 that has Bill Elliott drawing away from the field. He's had the entire field covered since the outset of the event. And from Dick Trickle's car number 66 with that helmet camera on, a camera actually on his helmet, kind of rock and roll around this track, Neil Bonnet.
Yeah, that right there, that's that fast way to go right in the bottom down in 1 and 2 like that. But still, that thing is pretty rough in there. And this back straightaway, that's a crossover right there where the big bounce was in the middle of the racetrack, is the crossover for the campers on the back straightaway.
I think I now understand why a race car driver's neck has to be strong. When you're on high bank racetracks, you can see how it's wearing his neck out, jerking his head around. So I see why these guys have to have big, strong necks.
Trickle in the 66 car running 17th. Here's the man of the hour, Bill Elliott in car number 9. Flaunting those red and white colors by now 4.5 seconds over everybody else on the field as he goes for his 34th win. Out the back of Brett Bodine, give you another sense of the banking here on this 1.5 miles at Charlotte. Here we go up on the Mad Merry-Go-Round around turns 1 and 2 and into the backside. Here are the lap leaders to date in the race. Bodine off the pole quickly, then Ernie Irvin took over. Bodine back, they had a great scrap. Then Elliott took over, and from lap 68 on, hey, it's been all Bill Elliott. Hope that helps you understand where we are in the race. We've had that one caution when Jeff Bodine got into the back of Jimmy Means and spun him. Does anybody ever put anybody out to bring out a flag?
I don't know, Ken.
Come on, Neil.
Yeah,
you don't know. You just told me you'd done it more than 100 times in your career.
All I want to know is Jeff already pitted before that.
Oh, no, Jeff didn't do that on purpose.
No,
but they just got together accidentally. But I do know for a fact.
27 Wallace goes up in smoke. Bad for Wallace. Jimmy Maycar now crewing that car as Barry Dodson has stepped aside for his new team next year. We'd like to talk to Barry more about that later, but for the moment, here's the story. The 27 car running in 20th position. Wallace backing out of it on the pit road.
The car still seems to be under power, so that would indicate a line or more buried up. When something like the motor's still running, it possibly something fixable there.
Miller Genuine Draft cars in, and Hut Strickland's number 12 as the 27 comes to a stop. There you see Strickland, bottom of the picture, just whipping on by. The Ray Vestas car, Bobby Allison, goes back on the track. The 27 car in unscheduled stop for Wallace and Barry Dodson. Let's get you into this story.
Okay, I would say that they've lost the bearings is what it looked like. I happened to be watching the car on the camera when it went in the corner. They had the same problem early in the week, same problem that faced them in Winston over here. And then we came back a week later, ran 600 miles. It's something that just crops up from time to time. I'd say he's probably done.
Chris Economack, there. What's the story, Chris?
The problem with car 27, Rusty Wallace, is an oil leak. And they got to first find out where it is and then figure out how to fix it. Not easy. There's a hot engine room right now. Everybody possible is over the wall working on it right now. Rusty is waiting impatiently. The hood is up, and he's losing ground left and right here. An oil leak on number 27. That's the problem.
Neil?
Barry, when they're doing this, people don't realize the plumbing on these race cars. That thing's probably got 150, 200 foot of oil lines in it, and it gets to be quite a problem to find it.
Yeah, it does, Neil, and we both know how brittle those fittings are. A piece of tire could come up, a rock or anything, and break one. I see what they're doing right now. Harold Elliott's taking some rags to try to stop the leak wherever it might be.
so. Now going 3 laps down is Wallace. And let's go to a report from our man in the stands, Mr. Pfister.
Thank you very much, Ken. Betty Casillas from Charlotte left her husband at home today to come out and watch a great race, and your man's doing fine.
Absolutely.
Who are you pulling for?
Bill Elliott.
Got a 5-second lead. Can he hold it?
Sure, no problem.
Now, do you like coming out to the races by yourself?
Sure, anything to pull for Bill Elliott.
Mark, that empty seat beside her, is that her husband's or is somebody else left?
Ken Schrader running in second spot, trying to find Bill Elliott, who now again has that 5. He's got a spinner coming down out of 4. 1 car looping is going to, may not even bring out a caution, as the 82 comes to a halt. Mark Stahl out of San Diego, California, takes a wild 600-foot ride out of turn 4, gathers it up. There's no caution, and if you're just joining us, thus far, we have only had a single caution on the day, just 1.
Everybody on that racetrack except Bill Elliott wanted a caution that time. Bill doesn't want to see the caution flags. The rest of them would like to be able to do a little bit of work.
There you see Wallace, and the smoke still coming out. What about it, Barry Dotson? As you watch the 27-year-old car going down the backstretch, any pangs there?
Well, they've struggled, it seems, as of late, and I tell you, it's so competitive right now. If you have any kind of problem at all, it shows up, and he's definitely got one. It's not the bearing problem we talked about earlier, but something's definitely wrong with him. 1988
winner of this event, Rusty Wallace, out of St. Louis, who had Barry Dotson in his corner over the past several years, and moves on to a new team next year, as does Barry. Here's the 9 car. Now with a 5.5-second lead.
And here's more bad news for the rest of the field, Ken. Usually our Timex fastest lap of the race comes in the first 2 or 3 laps of the event. Bill Elliott just clicked one off at 32.66 seconds. Our Timex Speed Track computes that to 165.34 miles an hour, and that happened after the caution flag pit stop. So not only is Elliott the fastest car on the racetrack, he's faster when he started this event. If that holds up as our fastest lap, his whole crew will get Timex Speed Track computers.
The 1989 Winston Cup champion, Rusty Wallace, is back on pit road another time. I think that might well be the knockout punch for 27 Wallace this afternoon. They'll try to get him back out there and score some points. But for the moment, it's a long, hard day at Charlotte for St. Louis, Missouri's Rusty Wallace. Over 100,000 people on their feet watching Bill Elliott lead. Okay, we've got it here in front of me. Got a car crashing right in front of us. Jimmy Means head on with Chad Little.
Jimmy Spencer.
I'm sorry, Jimmy Spencer.
Chad Little.
Yeah, and Chad Little.
Spencer lost it coming on board.
I'm going to hold it, Fred. Jimmy Spencer's getting out at 57. He's okay.
I wish he'd stayed in the car.
Yeah,
they got everybody.
That's NASCAR being
they're racing back to the line.
Car get loose on board this back and forth.
Fred, if you get a chance, I can do a thing on that new safety vehicle too. Okay. You got the Air Force card there? Car. Second caution today is just out as they came to the 100-lap mark of the 334, making the distance of 500 miles on this racetrack at Charlotte, North Carolina. Bill Elliott was in the lead. The incident that has put the number 57 Spencer car and Chad Little's car out of commission happened up in turn 4.
We're picking it up a little after it happened. I happened to see the 57 car come off of 4, got a little sideways, he looped it. Nowhere for Chad Little to go, he just drilled him right in the front. The car got loose, it made a little swish left and right, and then it headed straight back across the track. It's about the time Chad Little got there.
Richard Petty, number 43, dodging the bullet. Another angle.
Here we can see the top of the frame up here. The car's already sideways again. He backs it in the wall, pins against the wall at the same time Chad Little gets there. It looked like the rear broke loose on the 57 car coming off of turn 4 and got a little bit away from him.
Down to Chris Economaki with Chad Little.
All right, Chad, you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fine, Chris. Thanks. It's a shame, you know. I thought we were running pretty good today, and Jimmy got a little sideways coming out of 4 and lost it, and then there's nowhere I could go. You know, he was completely sideways in the track, and I started to go low, and then he stayed in the groove, and I figured he was going to start swinging up high. And
Chad, the car's really torn up. It must have been quite a hit.
It's nothing like Richmond about a month ago, though, that's for sure.
Well, you're in good shape, so you're all right.
Yeah, it's just a shame because the Bullseye car and Tyson Ollie Farms car was running really good.
Better luck next time.
Thank you.
Chad Little, out of it okay.
Spokane, Washington's Chad Little walks away from the second wreck in a row that we've seen here on TBS. That first one at Richmond, a hard lick in the wall at Richmond International Raceway, and today head on into Berwick, Pennsylvania's Jimmy Spencer coming out of turn 4 here at Charlotte. It's become a tradition on our TBS sports coverage of motorsports to shine the spotlight on a member of the racing fraternity with our U.S. Air Force Reserve Commander's Performance Award. And an incident on pit road involving Ernie Irvin's number 4, and I believe the 3 car was also in this. Bob Barsha is right there.
It happened right in front of me, Ken. Ernie Irvin out of the number 4 came down the pit lane, spun. I don't know whether he was hit or not, but he spun right into Dale Earnhardt's car, which was still up on the jacks getting service. Fortunately, none of the crewmen with their backs to the oncoming car. Dale's car took a lick at the right rear corner. No one else involved. Irvin's car is parked at the pit exit. Everybody else is out, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get Dale Earnhardt back in here. His crew's going to want to see what's the matter with his car now.
Bob Barsha, I happened to see that it was beginning. Alan Quickie was coming out of pit road. He's leaving his pit area. The 4 car came out. Alan Quickie got together and it shot the 4 over into the area you were at, but they touched the Quickie car and this car here got together on pit road.
Okay, Dale, I'm going to stay down here in the Earnhardt pits. Cecil Gordon has got the billboard out there. They're going to bring Dale back in and take a close look at the car. Here he comes now.
Ernie Irvin's car had been up in 3rd spot. There's Earnhardt's number 3, and they're checking that car. We're back to Bob Barsha.
They bring the car back up. It was on the right side jack. I cannot believe the car didn't come off the jack when it was wrapped. Richard Childress is there with Kirk Shelmerdine, Jack Van David Smith, the rest of the crew looking at that right rear corner. What a blow this could be to Dale Earnhardt. Recall a year ago in this race, he was the first man to drop out, finished 42nd, and it essentially cost him a shot at a 4th Winston Cup championship that went to Rusty Wallace, of course. And right now, he's got to be sitting behind the wheel of that car saying, what have I got to do to get something out of this 500-mile race at Charlotte? The crew is not in any obvious hurry, and that is always bad news. You guys might have a better look at it from up there.
Bob, from this side, it looks like sheet metal. The tire that came off of the car didn't look like it sustained a real big lick. It looks like it caved the sheet metal in on the car. Maybe that's the only problem. As long as it didn't take a blow in the rear end housing, you should be okay.
I think that's the key thing. If it did not knock the rear end housing sideways a few inches or so, then I think you'll be okay. But you can see how the other car is torn up, and that car hit Earnhardt. You can see how that car is destroyed.
Well, that thing of Earnhardt's is known to be able to bounce off a lot of things and keep ticking, and evidently it took a pretty good shot right there.
All right, we stay under caution with now 105 laps complete. Let's go to the pit center. Mike Joy is standing by with a Goodyear Racing update.
Thank you, Ken, and lots of weekend action to cover. Yesterday here at Charlotte, the fastest 40 of 100 entries squared off in the Sportsman 100, though only half of them were running at the finish of that event. Let's have a look at it here on the start. Robbie Faggart goes to an early lead, but crashes like this one eliminated nearly half the field. Faggart led the first half of the event, 7 cars out in this wreck. There's Spaggart moving up through the pack in number 4. He and Dennis Setzer, rather, in 4, each led about half the race. 75, Robert Huffman waited to the last lap to make his move. He came home with the victory. Setzer hung on for second. Jerry Knowles took third. Up at Nazareth, Pennsylvania, Rick Mears won the IndyCar Marlboro Challenge and the $250,000 that went with it. Bobby Rahal and Mears have the front row for today's IndyCar race. And if you can't get enough racing in a day, go to Road Atlanta, where practice is underway for the SCCA National Championship runoff. Next weekend, they'll run 27 feature event races to decide the National Amateur Champs. That's it for this Goodyear Racing Update.
Here you see the Ernie Irvin car coming in on the hook. The California native who has scored 1 win out at Bristol, Tennessee, and was running so well early in the going, getting bunted and then spun on pit road into Dale Earnhardt's number 3. And as the wrecker brings him back, other cars are taking advantage of this opportunity to do additional work. Richard Petty again is on pit road, as is Jack Pennington. The rest of the field is out, and we'll see Bill Elliott in front, Schrader in second, Kyle Petty in third, Brett Bodine fourth, Morgan Shepherd in fifth when the race resumes. Earnhardt is making another pit stop in number 3 as work continues on his car.
Again, he stopped on what he's been doing is going out and catching up to the rear of the field. He's been coming in on every lap. And I think they've got the car pretty well under control. They're just going to take care of the little small things right now. If there had been a major problem with that rear end housing or the rear panel car or something bent, they'd be up on jack stands and working on it. But looks like they're just trying to make sure there's no metal flying where they get black flag after the restart.
So there you see the work continuing, and you see the anguish or the stoical look of Dale Earnhardt.
One great thing about Earnhardt, you cannot tell if he's having a bad day or a good day. The look stays pretty much the same, doesn't it, Neil?
Yeah, he's all business when he sits in the seat of that thing, and if they got it straightened out, he'll be all right.
Well, here comes the field by, and the 3 car slips back out, so it does not go a lap down. They're clearing pit road. Safety crews still working out there as we continue to look back through the field as to how they were all running when we came to this incident. 107 laps have now been complete of 334. The 44 car is taking a pit stop here. Jimmy Horton in the Bob Tullius car. Still, Elliott is playing the role of the dominator today here in the Mello Yello 500. Can he keep it up? Nothing about drinking and driving.
Good idea.
I'd love to get a comment from Doc back voiceover what's going on. That's perfect. Where's the 3 car in the on your list? 20th on the tail end of the lead lap, last car. Pace car is coming in. They're about to go green again at the Charlotte Motor Speedway with 108 of 334 laps complete. Elliott bringing the field down with Schrader second, Kyle Petty third, Brett Bodine fourth, Morgan Shepherd fifth as they come to the stripe. Dale Earnhardt in the number 3 car is running 20th on the tail end of the lead lap. behind Alan Kowicki in 19th as they bust loose. And there you see immediately Elliott jumping out to a 3 or 4 car length advantage as he scoots out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Schrader stays second. Kyle Petty maintaining third behind those leaders. Let's go to Chris Economaki, who is in Dale Earnhardt's pit.
Okay, Louis Kirk there was a lot of calm confusion there. 4 pit stops. How's the car now?
I think it's not damaged too badly. It punctured the right rear tire, and we had to replace that again and do those sheet metal work. I don't think it bent the rear end or did anything serious, luckily.
Some of those last stops, you said, were just fooling around trying to get it right from a standpoint. That wasn't correcting the damage. It was making the car better, right?
We had some time to try to straighten things out as best we could, so we used it.
Okay, thank you very much, Kirk. Let's go down pit road to Bob Barton.
In the garage area, 12 mechanics are hard at work on Ernie Irvan's car trying to get him back in the race. Ernie, what happened?
Well, it's a shame. This Kodak film Ducker Remy Chevrolet was running awful good today, and another car that could not run us on the racetrack was going to try to pass us down pit road. He got in the grass, and when he did that, he got loose, slid over the top of me, and knocked me down into Dale. And fortunately, nobody in the pits got hurt. I don't know how, but we'll seem to have to handle this after the race.
Based on what you see right now, you're going to be able to get back out?
Well, we can get back out, I'm sure, but, you know, we took a car that was running in the top 5 all day, and now we're just going to have to ride around.
Ernie Irvan going laps down, and you can sense his frustration. One of those cars involved was Alan Kowicki, who is not just riding around. He is up in the 19th position and is in the lead lap and trying to, you've seen him fight his way to the front once, trying to do it again right now. There you see, for the first time this afternoon, someone making a dent on what has been the impenetrable fortress of car number 9, Schrader. In the Hendrick Chevrolet is closing on the Ford.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. The first time all day long we've seen anyone can even withstand any of the pace that he has. It might be that Bill is running the same pace and finally some of his guys, Schrader, have picked their pace up, but that's the only person all day that's been able to keep in sight.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, Neil, that Bill Elliott's going to take care of his car all day. He's already found out that you know, we're going to have cautions, things like that. So it's important. Oh, we got, is that Earnhardt?
Earnhardt is in the wall up in turn 4. Something broke. I think he caught a tire the way it happened. He may have been tagged, but he has slapped the wall, and there lies number 3 in the center of the track. The 3-time Winston Cup champion in big trouble. Gets her fired and is going to bring it on by.
The fans are giving him a standing ovation. You just can't beat that man down. He just keeps coming back. He'll just keep coming back.
He's got the left rear caved in now to match the right side, so they got their work cut out for him.
He is still on the lead lap, though. If he can get around and get this thing changed and fixed, he is able to stay on the lead lap.
So there is the 3rd caution of the day. It comes for Earnhardt in the number 3 as he was pressing out of the back of the field. Let's take a look at what happened to Earnhardt.
When we pick the shot up here, he's already sideways. Luckily, right there, he just barely got best we get hit that left front. That would have been the end of it when you hit those front wheels.
You know, it didn't look like anyone was right in front of him. Maybe he cut a tire down again. You know, Kurt Shelmerdine said earlier that when he went around, they put a new tire on and he cut it down and they had to come back in. Maybe there's something underneath that car that cut a tire down.
When you come to a super speedway like this, the fender clearance and everything are real close for the high speed running we do. And when you move something over a little bit, it can start rubbing. We're seeing the right front just destroyed on the car. But that could be when you lock the wheels up, you know, blows a tire just a short distance on the track.
You may be seeing $1 million dribbling through the fingers of this car number 3 team here after this later incident in turn 4. We'll be back for more in a moment.
Wheel fell off.
What? A wheel has fallen off number 3 and the tire's rolling through turn 1. The tire is still rolling down through turns 1 and 2, Fred. It's in the grass.
They pulled the left sides off.
They didn't get a chance to tighten the lugs up.
Well, they did a 2-tire on the right side. Somebody took the lefts off. They didn't know it. It's a standard deal on a pit stop is you pull your left sides off with the rights, and they just put the rights back on. Got the lefts along. See, both lefts were left off. It's going to be about 3 or 4 laps at best.
Because the Retro had to pick him up.
See, and you can't pick up either end because both ends are missing a wheel. They'll probably take a roll back to get him in. Okay.
Gotcha, thank you.
Ken, you're coming to me, and I'll tell you.
You do it off this monitor. Yep.
Okay.
And Fred, I can be out of this?
You're coming to me, then I go to Barry.
Yeah. And Neil will go to Barry. Misfortune started in turn 4. It's just been compounded in turn 1. Left side tires, lug nuts not tightened up, and they've come off number 3 car. Earnhardt lies at the bottom of the first turn. Dale, or rather Neil, from a driver's standpoint, tell us about how this thing feels.
It's normal procedure to pull lefts. We've got Barry Dodson down there. Let's let him tell you what happens on a pit stop like this.
You know, everything is hectic, Neil. The same thing happened to us in '87 here at Oakwood Homes 500. We caught it one pit away. Michael Waltrip's crew put the lug nuts back on. As you said earlier, the fenders are real tight on the Speedway. Maybe they thought they could make it back around. They were concerned about getting lapped, and it caught up with them.
There you see it again.
It's certainly not the first time it's happened. As Barry said, it's happened to them. It's happened with a lot of the major teams. The guy pulls the left sides off, you don't get the lug nuts back on, they drop. The key to the driver is when the jack goes down, you leave.
It is, and when we got in trouble with it, we had just put a guy on the left side, and it was my mistake. I called 2 tires, forgetting that my little brother was over there. So it happened, and it'll happen again.
Well, here you see the Childress crew coming out with 2 tires, but already they brought a service truck to pick him up. What's the rules here, gentlemen?
That's going to be the question. Will they let them put them on there? Barry, can these guys take these things down here and put them on, or is it mandatory to bring it back to the pits?
I tell you what, that's going to be a touchy situation. All the pit work is supposed to be done in the pit. With the championship on the line, this will be interesting.
Neil, you pointed out earlier that they couldn't pull it in with a wrecker. They'd have to pull it with a flatbed. Why is that?
Well, we got a tire off each end of the race car. If they pick it up with the front, they drag the fuel cell. If they pick it up with the rear, they pull the front suspension out from under the car. The only choice is to drag that thing up on that flatbed wrecker. The problem is there's going to be a lot of car destroyed when they do that.
Chris is with Richard Childress.
Hey, Richard, tough break. What exactly happened?
Well, the car was jumping around after the rear housings got knocked out from under over there, and it jumped out from under him and come in here and was going to take, change all 4 tires, and he seen it, he just wanted to take off at that time. We just had a miscommunication right there and took off. We had the left sides loose, so we just have to make the best out of a bad day right now.
How long is it going to take to fix?
We don't know. We got to get the car back in here and see what we got to do.
You're not allowed to work on it up there, are you?
No, we're just wanting to try to get it fixed where we don't tear it up, loading it on the trailer.
Okay, tough break, car owner Richard Childress, Dale Earnhardt's owner.
Unfortunately, a potential $1 million miscommunication.
And the other day here in the infield, they had a big press conference between Mark and Dale, and they both said there's no rebound time. This late in the season, 4 races to go, something like this can really be a bad stroke for the championship. If you got 8 or 10 races left, you might be able to overcome something like this. They got a lot of work ahead of them now.
And this would mean like a 90-point lead for Mark Martin if this finishing position stays like it is.
If you're at Charlotte Motor Speedway where they start 40-something race cars, if you're at a Wilkesboro where it's a 28-car field and you're 28th, here you can be in the 40 numbers and the points really go down. Charlotte is not only a good place to win, it's a bad place to have bad luck.
Well, the last time something like this happened with such calamitous results, wasn't it David Pearson and the Wood brothers who had miscommunication at Darlington? The left sides came off the car. It ended up with David leading the ride, and Neil, weren't you the fellow that stepped into that seat?
Yeah, but it's such a touchy situation on the driver's standpoint. You know, the crew guys, just like Richard said, he said that his left side man jumped over, took the tires off. And in a hectic situation, you don't tell the driver, wait a minute, wait a minute. The key always for the driver, jack goes down, you leave. And Dale thought they were doing a rights only, and they got it fired off now. Maybe get it back around there. They got a lot of work to do to get it where it's mobile again, though.
Well, they've...
Gentlemen, just this morning in the Charlotte Observer newspaper in Charlotte, Dale Earnhardt was quoted as saying, I want to race Mark Martin for the championship. We don't want this to be decided by a crash or getting collected by somebody else or having something go wrong in the pits. Little did he know that today that's exactly what would happen, and hopefully it won't cost him the championship. We just got a big roar from the crowd. Dale Earnhardt must be still out there fighting this.
He's coming back on the track, Barb, and Chris Economaki is standing by with Jack Roush.
I'm with Jack Roush, Mark Martin's car owner and principal strategist. Jack, with this tough luck that's befallen your arch rival, are you changing your race strategy?
Oh, no. We want to try to win this race. We want to try to put this Folger Valvoline Thunderbird up front. We've got a lot of adjustment left in the car, and it's responding to the changes we made so far. We had to go way back in order to get right there on one of the earlier stops, but we think we'll be in contention to the end, and the race is pretty much going as we'd expected. We really feel bad about the 3-car falling out. That's not the way we want to race for this championship.
All right, there you hear it from number 6 car owner Jack Roush, the 2 sportsmen.
Earnhardt down 4 laps as he comes back in. We're still waiting for word from NASCAR about this working on the car down here in the first turn. There you see the number 6 car, and that is Mark Martin's Ford, now running in 11th position.
In my opinion, I don't see how they could penalize them for going down just to put tires on a car to get it back around, because they didn't pick up any speed to get around here.
Well, even if they do penalize them, it's almost worth the penalty, because the car would virtually be destroyed just dragging it up on the record. So it's going to be a judgment call, and it might be one of those calls that even though you are penalized, it's still a better end result.
Well, let's see what happens. They're 1 lap away from taking green with 122 laps complete. As you watch the Earnhardt car now falling 5 laps down. Bill Elliott leads, Schrader second, Brett Bodine third. In these unusual circumstances at Charlotte, North Carolina, which very well could decide the Winston Cup title and the $1 million bonus for 1990. You see the drivers that have won that Winston Cup title and the Mello Yello 500 the same year. Petty back in 75. Remember all those years he was here in 1960 and finished second and waited till 75 to finally win it, and then went on to take the title, one of 7 that he earned.
I'll tell you, earlier in the week I sat down and talked to both these guys, and both of them sincerely meant that they'd like to win or lose the championship on the racetrack. The way the seasons went, the competitiveness between the 2 guys, it doesn't need to be decided with something like this. And when you see Jack Roush say he hated to see it happen, you can believe that Jack Roush is a racer. He wants to beat them on the racetrack, not with that 3-car sitting there beat up.
Another thing, you could see the distress in Ernie Irvin's face, because he is the car that hit it and started all these problems, and it hurt Ernie to see Dale that way.
Well, they're putting the caution out for still another lap. Amid all the excitement, amid all the pressure, all the gaiety that this weekend is here at Charlotte, there's also sorrow after the tragedy of last Sunday involving Robbie Moroso. We'd like to take this moment to say a final goodbye. Robert James Moroso ran a solid race last Sunday at North Wilkesboro, finished 21st. Hours later, he was killed in a traffic accident 2 miles from his North Carolina home. He had just turned 22. In a recent interview, Rob contemplated what his future might well be.
And so when I think about my future, I want to be the best, and I feel I can be. And I think when I get to that point, if I do, I'll feel about like I do now. It's hard to believe that it's happening.
Rob Moroso, a tragic story of what might have been. He succeeded in everything he tried. As a high school student, Rob did his homework in the lunch hour so he could work on his cars after school. At 16, the minimum age for a NASCAR license, he graduated to the Charlotte Daytona Dash Series, and he won 2 races in his rookie year. Next, it was NASCAR's Busch Grand National. In that series, he was the only person ever to win 3 consecutive events here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. As defending race winner, you'll find Rob Moroso's picture on every Grand National ticket. Moroso claimed 4 victories and 12 top 10 finishes last year. At age 21, he became the youngest Grand National champion in the sport's history. This year, backed by his father's support, he was a runaway leader in the Winston Cup rookie standings. Thursday, Rob's family, friends, and peers said their last goodbyes at a memorial service here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. He is well remembered. Robbie Moroso will be missed.
Well, if Robbie Moroso was here, his key thing would be, hey, remember me good, remember the good things, let's go racing.
We're back to racing. We're under green, just a lap. We're at 124. Bill Elliott is putting car number 3, Earnhardt, another lap down. With Elliott comes his major challenger. It is Schrader in the 25, the defending champion in this event. Schrader moving in to challenge Bill Elliott. Ford versus Chevy for the lead. But the championship story of 1990 may have been told right here in the last several minutes. A missed communication for the Dale Earnhardt-Richard Childress combination, and they have been bulletproof on that kind of thing over the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, the fun part of the thing here, we now have a race because Schrader has picked up the pace and he's able to keep up with Elliott and seems to be gaining on him. So some of that advantage might be going away and we might be getting into some traffic here.
The last caution flag, we saw Schrader better his race car. This time they've made some more changes and it seems he's picked up the pace even yet. Just be to see if he can stay there after a long run.
Behind this pair, running in 3rd, is Brett Bodine. He set on the pole when we started this race at an average speed of over 174 miles an hour. His first pole position. His first win came earlier this season on the Winston Cup circuit. Morgan Shepherd has brought himself from 33rd in the Bud Moore car up into 4th position. And Kyle Petty is 5th. Waltrip lies 6th, Jeff Bodine 7th. Harry Gant is now in 8th place, while Davey Allison is 9th, and Derek Cope is up to 10th. Dick Trickle is in 11th.
Elliott, Kenny's either picked the pace up, the Schrader car's either picked it up, or Bill is pacing himself, but it looked like Bill had one consistent time going. I don't think he would change things. I believe that maybe Schrader can stand with him a little bit.
Well, he did kneel on our watch in that last green flag run. He was a very consistent 32.25, 167.4 miles per hour. They've made that car better yet. Last lap, just before Schrader began to move up on him, Elliott came across at 32.07 seconds, 168.38 miles per hour on the Timex speed track. It computes it automatically, and that is fast. I mean, Elliott, I'm amazed that car just gets quicker every pit stop.
Mike Joy, some of the things that if Schrader's picked his pace up, maybe Elliott's seeing what that thing will do. He could possibly have been pacing that car. It's hard to believe he could pace at the speed he was doing, but if he's picking up the speed like that now, Schrader's putting a little heat on him, he's got something left.
Ken Schrader in the Kodiak Chevrolet, and the number 6 car, the points leader, puts a lap on Dale Earnhardt, the second place man, down in turns 1 and 2. Now it's 7 laps down and being reported on car number 3, Earnhardt. And there are a total of 19 cars remaining in the lead lap.
Okay, it's a long race. If he can stay out there and get him a top 20 finish with attrition, you can't write Dale Earnhardt off.
But it makes the odds a lot longer. Take a look at this. Here's Morgan Shepherd, number 15, the red and white car, the Ford, running just in front of Kyle Petty, the number 42, and closing is Waltrip. Waltrip qualified 25th. He's made 2 game runs up toward the front thus far in the race. Now that we've completed 3 caution periods, here comes Waltrip once again. Behind Waltrip is Jeff Bodine in the number 11 car.
Kyle Petty right in the middle of his car is ran good on a lot of occasions this year. He's right in the middle of it also. And when I say in the middle, he is in the middle. There's Morgan Shepherd and Darrell Barron now.
spent the money. They're going to make that one of the best teams in Winston Cup racing. It already is right on the verge of being one of the very best.
Morgan, in the first of the season, was right in the middle of the point battle. Bud Forrest Fords have always run well in this race car. He might not put up big numbers qualifying stuff, but he's always got a good race combination for this track. And if he plugs away all day, Bud's going to get a good finish along with Morgan out of this.
Morgan Shepherd, who has won here in Grand National races, is challenged by Kyle Petty another time. Here's Petty in the 42 down on the bottom for fourth. Further back, take a look at this scramble that's going on. There's the number 10 car, and just barely in front of him is Ricky Rudd's number 5. Rudd is running in 10th. Derek Cope in the 10 car at 11th, and back side by side, 42 to the inside. Kyle Petty trying to take fourth and making the hole. Waltrip stays right in there as well. 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Darrell's won a lot of races at this racetrack, and I know that doesn't suit him anymore to come up this into it, pull off a win up here.
At lap 135, Waltrip into 5th. Elliott stays first. Schrader stays in 2nd place. The interval stays about the same between those two. Actually works in Elliott's favor by an extra 10 car lengths at the moment. Let's see what happens.
Jimmy Hensley's doing an excellent job in the Crown car. He's in 16th place, run well in the lead lap.
Look at Bodine go. Huh. Schrader is backed up.
Yeah.
Way backed up.
New tires went away, I guess. Davey Allison is running well too. He's quietly coming to the front.
I've been afraid to say anything about it. We haven't had any trouble on board. I hate to mention it. Maybe we'll get away without it.
Well, something happened to Earnhardt up there.
Yeah, I saw it. They must have messed up that rear commander car. Some stuff back and broke around. Well, it didn't work. It must have something like
Sure. That's gone away. I mean, he just went right by him.
We're going to be looking for the 66 car. 66-94. 66-75, turn 4. Not on 8. Right there.
They weren't identified that.
At the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Bill Elliott continues to try and extend his lead. Let's see how the complexion of this race thus far has affected the Winston Cup point standing. Mark Martin came here just 16 points ahead of Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt now multiple laps down as a result of that pit lane incident and losing the 2 left side tires off his car. Bill Elliott has a chance to gain some ground on Jeff Bodine and Rusty Wallace, despite that smoking engine, and a lot of problems came in here 220 points ahead of 6th place Kyle Petty, so there should be no change past the top 5. But that Earnhardt-Martin battle may loom big as a result of the pit road incident. Let's go back to Ken Squire, Johnny Hayes, and Neil Bonnet.
2.5 seconds, Mike. Separation between 1st and 2nd. There's 2nd place with Brett Bodine. Schrader, who was there, has fallen back to 3rd. In the 4th position is Kyle Petty. 5th is Waltrip. Further back, here's a dandy battle developing. Take a look at number 66, Dick Trickle running 12th. Rick Wilson in the 75, 13th, and Mark Martin running 14th on car 6.
remember, Mark Martin needs to get a good finish. He's not had a dominant car here. I don't know if he's just riding there saving it, but this is where he needs to get that top 5 finish so he can really spread the interval between himself and Earnhardt.
141 of 344 laps complete. Martin to the inside on Wilson.
Now, he wouldn't be riding that far back just because he wants to. He would be trying very hard to get around those cars. So I think he does have a handling problem with that car.
Jack Brown also made a statement earlier that they were concerned with winning this race. The Eagles out of it.
We got a car that went sideways. Sterling Marlin went dead sideways in front of the field coming out of turn 4.
He's picked it up and continues and running very slowly, as we saw Rusty Wallace in another time. Count Wallace out on this one. Still have 19 cars in the lead lap. And Sterling Marlin's machine, which was running just back to 21st, came off turn 4 and just backed up about 5 spots. Here's that battle that continues as number 75 moves around into 12th. Trickle drops to 13th. The 6 car loose there, and he had the tail end all the way out just behind Mark Martin in 6th. Michael Waltrip has pulled himself up to 15th place. He qualified 36 today. And look at Michael Waltrip in the 30, making his run on car number 6, Martin. You would wonder about Martin running that far back. You don't really want to be in that section of the field. You don't have to be, do you?
Here's a great call. You see Jimmy Hensley's number 20 Crown car came flying in there. He's a Busch Grand National regular, and he's filling in for Dick Moroso and is driving the heck out of that race car. He's in the lead lap, has passed a bunch of cars, and has now run this whole group of cars down, so he's really got that car hooked up.
And just behind this 6 car, John, is the Hensley effort today in the Robbie Moroso number 20, and he is putting on a great race. There you see him in car number 20. Jimmy Hensley started in the 23rd spot, and he has brought that car along very nicely as we come towards 145 laps this time, and is being shown in the lead lap, maintaining 16th position.
Again, you were talking earlier about Mark, you know, would you want to be that far back? They're, you know, the further back you are, the more chance there are something happening in front of you. So I'm sure that if they pick the pace up, they'll certainly do that.
Brett Bodine in the Quaker State car, looking from 2nd place up through the field as he comes down this main straightaway for this Capacity House. Every seat in this main grandstand sold out.
He is the one without the helmet camera, because you can see the picture is nice and smooth. The car looks like it's driving real well.
Swap of positions here. Schrader has gone back into 2nd. Bodine finds himself 3rd. Kyle Petty 4th, as that battle has seesawed over the past 10 or 15 laps. And for the moment now, Schrader just draws away, and he's about to put another lap on the hapless Dale Earnhardt.
And I don't think Bill liked the idea of us talking about them closing in on him. Elliott just went ahead, stretched it back out there like he's been capable of doing all day long. These guys are having a battle for 2nd place. Bill's really working on them.
Well, you know, it's Bill Elliott's birthday this weekend, you know, so he's got his mother here. It's his birthday. Another big birthday. Lula Rosa has a birthday this week. So got a bunch of birthday boys around here.
We asked Kenny Schrader, number 25, how long is Rick Hendrick's patience when it comes to his Winston Cup teams?
I don't know. We haven't really tested, or I haven't really tested Rick yet to see how long his patience will last. We've had a good relationship, and you know, we've thrown away a lot of cars in the last couple of years. A bunch of them were my fault. And I'll fess up pretty quick when I get out of them when they're my fault. But you know, they put you in there to try to go fast, and every once in a while you go fast, but you don't do it right, and you lose a car. But
26.
You know, I don't think we've been in danger of getting sent down the road yet. I sure hope not. So, I mean, I think as long as, you know, he hires the people that he has confidence in, and as long as you're doing your job and he feels you are, and you've got that team attitude, I think you're halfway safe there.
Bob Varsha.
Ken, I checked with Jack Roush, Mark Martin's car owner, about that looseness problem reported. They're waiting on a pit stop to work on the car. He says the problem is when Mark gets another car up behind him, it gets that back end up and makes the car loose. When he's on his own, says Roush, he can go as fast as he wants to.
Well, for the moment, I don't think he's going as fast as he wants to. Here you see Hensley in the 20 car moving around him. Back in second place, Schrader getting some pressure from Kyle Petty's Pontiac. Ford in first, Chevy second, Pontiac third, and that number 42 Pontiac is making the move.
Well, you'd expect Schrader to be among our true value hard chargers. That's the way he runs that car. That's right where he is. Bill Elliott's led the most laps. He gets 5 points for each one of those. But Schrader gets 4 points for each lap that he's running second at 100 laps. Elliott 468, Schrader 276. Then Ernie Irvin, who's now in the garage, Jeff Bodine, and Davey Allison, all getting true value hard charger points as they pile up on the day.
We're now 11 laps away from the halfway distance and a $10,000 bonus in the race, which looks to be very much in Elliott's pocket, and that smoker continues to be Wallace. He stays out here now several laps down, and they keep bringing him in. He keeps working on the car, but it's not going his way for a former winner of this event.
You know, this might be a good time to call Barry Dodson in. We're talking about the 6 car. When someone gets behind it, you know, we do a lot of adjustment. Barry, what would be the best thing when someone's right behind the car to correct the problem?
What they'll do, Neil, as you well know, when they come in, they'll beat the rear spoiler up. That'll give the car a little downforce, especially when it turns, entering the corner. And if the car's pretty good, as far as wedge, they may take a little wedge out, spoiler up to get him nailed down.
Look at the 42 car. Kyle Petty with an inside run. Put Schrader back to third. Kyle Petty now goes to second place. Former winner of the 600 here, Kyle Petty on a roll into second spot. And we're 10 away from the halfway distance. There's Davey Allison's number 28. He's trying to stay with the Darrell Waltrip fight and with Morgan Shepherd. Davey Allison's number 28 Ford, the Robert Yates machine, into the back straightaway. Behind him is Morgan Shepherd. Here is Waltrip beginning to tear. He moves around. Waltrip moving in, getting by number 11 Bodine, and he gets himself to 7th place and ready to go after Shepherd in the 15. This is Darrell Waltrip, number 17, now to 7th place, Jeff Bodine in 8. Mark Pfister has the story for us.
You know, there's a lot of celebrities, Ken, who have their own successful line of clothing, and some of them that really don't. This is Michael Bice from Ohio, and he's put together, I think, probably one of the nicest Darrell Waltrip outfits I've ever seen in my life. How long did it take you to put this thing together?
I upgraded every year. I started out when he first got the tag car.
Well, this looks gorgeous. You got a little car moving around up here, Darrell, Steve, and Jessica. And could you show us what time it is real quick?
That's 17 o'clock. Oh, it's 17 o'clock.
Well, that's a beautiful outfit. I doubt we'll be seeing it in the malls anytime soon.
You're right to me. I can send it to you, maybe.
Mark, would you ask that guy if that car on top of his head is in the spin cycle?
Here is the 17, dropping down for a moment to the bottom, and you see Ricky Rudd going by him. Apparently the spin cycle isn't working too well at 17 right now. He drops another spot. Waltrip back to 9th, and Harry Gant is closing on him. The 82 winner of the event, Gant, who said when he won it in 1982, it was just like Christmas. Looks like he's trying to ring some more bells today. Remember, he's qualified second and started dead last after he lost his car a day ago. On pit road comes Terry Labonte's car number 1, which has been running in 19th position at the tail end of the lead lap. 157 laps complete this time by. It has been the Bill Elliott story all day here at Charlotte.
Is that one working?
This is over the key, right?
What? I didn't say anything.
Thank you.
Brad, listen, Neil, I can't call Barry anymore. I can't use talkback. I don't have it on this spare. We'll let you know what.
Talkback only there,
I had to hawk my Tabor's fish. Yep. Turned it into fish food.
How far are we from regular pit stops?
Yeah, it's Barry Dotson how far away we are on regular pit stops.
I just saw Darrell come in. I don't know if it's regular or what. I lost track on that last caution with the problem with Dale, really.
Yeah, we're not getting lap numbers here, so it kind of hurts.
Mike 160.
Promotional fees and consideration have been paid by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, makers of the Goodyear Eagle high-performance street radials, the best-selling performance tires in the world. Today's in-car cameras have been brought to you by Phillips 66 Trop Arctic Motor Oil, the high-quality motor oil for year-round engine protection. Long live your car with Phillips 66 Trop Arctic. And by Quaker State, the Big Q is one tough motor oil.
Mike 160.
Promotional fees and consideration have been paid by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, makers of the Goodyear Eagle high-performance street radials, the best-selling performance tires in the world. Today's in-car cameras have been brought to you by Phillips 66 Trop Arctic Motor Oil, the high-quality motor oil for year-round engine protection. Long live your car with Phillips 66 Trop Arctic. And by Quaker State, the Big Q is one tough motor oil.
Bill Elliott's been on a tear here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, perhaps not seen since he won the Winston Million. Though Ernie Irvin clicked off a lap at 167.780 miles per hour, quickest on our Timex Speed Track has been Bill Elliott, 168.40 as he continues to extend that lead. A little later on, Ken Squire will have our Goodyear mid-race recap as soon as those stats are available. Right now, let's go back to live action.
And we are 5 laps away. We were premature by 5 laps away from halfway. And the interval between first and second, Mike, is now 3 7/10 of a second as Sterling Marlin, the young man who won his first Grand National race yesterday. Grand Slam, the All-Pro Auto Parts 300, is getting lapped. Sterling Marlin going down one to car number 9. That leaves us with 17 cars in the lead lap. Darrell Waltrip has just pitted. I think that was a little out of sync, John.
Yeah, and Terry Labonte also. I think those cars had to come in early because they had trouble. You see Rusty Wallace has the hood up on that car, so I'd say they're in serious trouble.
And he's behind the wall, not up on the pit road ATAL. Jack Pennington's number 41 is pitting. The number 90 going another lap down. Rick Mast driving for Travis Carter here at the end of the season as they go into turn number 1. A lot of changes there. Of course, Rick Mast comes out with a new team a year from now. Very excited about it. And poor Dale Earnhardt in number 3 gets mowed down by Bill Elliott another time. Has to be hard to be just riding out there now, just trying to grind out the points. The car isn't working right.
And when you go out there with one of these cars prepared at its best, you got your hands full. And when you take one of these things and beat it all up, he might be running slow, but he's running as hard as that car will go right now. And that's a terrible feeling, just be sitting there, especially watching these guys just fly right on by you.
On the attrition for today's race, taking a look at attrition on today's card, we have 3 cars officially down, and the 27 car, they're trying to get it back in, and because it's just behind the wall, it may be they'll try to roll it back out, but for the moment, it's gone to the garage area. So call it 4 cars out of the 41 starters that have retired as we come to halfway in the event.
Schrader is coming down pit road.
3rd place car, Schrader, is on pit road. 2nd place at the moment is Kyle Petty.
It's about time for our regular stops here. These guys will probably just go with two tires again.
Bob Barsh is there.
The Hendrick Racing crew goes to work on the second-place car of Kenny Schrader. It's quick and pretty uneventful.
Got a spin coming out of turn 4. We've got 1, 2, 3 cars spinning and crashing out of turn number 4. The 83 car was, I believe, the first car to go, and he was almost caught. That was Phil Parsons going around. Chuck Bound was right there.
So was Bill Elliott, right in the middle of it.
And was able to get through it. Well, there you see Chuck Bound, who won 6 Grand National races this year and leads in the Grand National standings. Line to the grass. He's able to get her fired and brings her back on. Car number 97. And that's the colors he'll be carrying, the Kellogg colors for 1991. The 83 Parsons is also back out. Barry Dotson, this sure comes at the right time for all of these crews who are getting a little anxious about fuel and tires out here as we come to halfway.
It sure does. A lot of cars needed adjustments. The 9 cars staying pretty consistent. And I tell you what, you got to keep your eye on Brett Bodine. He's back there. You take a look at the in-car camera. He's real comfortable. I got a feeling he might show up a little later on.
Let's take a look and replay at turn 4.
Well, coming off the corner here, the car broke loose in the bottom lane. He just lost the car. The thing loops around. If you're watching the smoke, this is going to be the 9 car comes right through the middle. The 9 car going through with a car spinning on the outside of him. Got right through the middle of the thing. He's lucky. Here's Kyle Petty right down in the apron in the grass in the middle of the tri-oval, going across the yellow writing right there. The first and second place cars barely got through the accident. Here's the way it looked to Elliott. A lot of smoke right there. He's totally blind. He makes a judgment call. He follows that car back to the right. Excellent job of driving, or some help from somebody else. I don't know what it was.
There's Kyle Petty. He's just headed out for the grass, for anywhere to get out of the way of anything that might be coming down off that asphalt.
That's when you need Toro as a sponsor. They can help you in the grass down there.
Chris Economaki.
Kyle Petty was in and out of here like a rocket. He went out so fast one of his pitmen took a spill on the asphalt. Have to check and see when he's going to come back in again, whether that trip through the lawn left anything on the car they want to remove. We'll be back in a minute.
Here's Kyle Petty making his 300th Winston Cup start here today. Winner of the 600 on this track back in 1987. Love to get his 4th win in this event.
Kyle has always run well at Charlotte. Ran his first race here, practiced here, big-time Winston Cup, and he's always liked this place. He feels like it's home to him.
The $10,000 bonus for halfway is in the pocket of Bill Elliott, and it came in a very dramatic fashion, as we just saw. More from Charlotte shortly. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I see it? Can I see the graphic? Patty, can I see the graphics? So I don't know what happened. And just back the pages.
Okay, 1 to go when they get to the left. 1 to go when they come by. Very nice. Running. Either 6 or 7.
Darrell Waltrip is down a lap because of the pit stop.
Mm-hmm.
We show 18.
We're 17.
No, that's right.
We're about to go back to green. First, here's our Goodyear mid-race recap. 6 lead changes among 5 drivers. The 3 caution flags have slowed the average speed to 133 miles per hour. 23 laps so far under caution. Very low attrition. Only 3 cars out of the race. Ken?
Bill Elliott, whole story thus far. Brett Bodine sat on the pole. Good skirmish with Schrader at the beginning. Then Elliott took over and motored away. We're just completing the 4th caution of the day. With Johnny Hayes alongside and Neil Bonnet, we're topside just past the halfway mark, coming to 171 as they'll take green.
We're going to get somebody else to take a shot at him now. Bill has been out front all day long. Schrader tried him. The 26 car tried him. Now Kyle was moving around the rest guys. Now we'll see if Kyle can stand the pace of Bill Elliott.
Ford at first, Pontiac second, Buick third, Chevrolet fourth as they come to the stripe in the Mello Yello 500 live on TBS. Elliott has led 145 of 171 laps. Let's see if Kyle Petty in the number 42 can change those circumstances.
So far, Ken, all we've been able to do is somebody get after Bill. He'll turn us a new lap record every time. He just picks up the pace.
Work that Timex watch one more time. Let's go to Chris Economaki in Kyle Petty's pits.
Okay, we're with Gary Nelson, Kyle Petty's crew chief. Gary, did Kyle Petty make that riding lawnmower? Did he do any damage in the grass there?
Kyle said it was real smooth, and so far, you know, first couple laps, the car looks real good. So he said he didn't feel any bumps or anything. He just had to avoid those cars that were spinning, and he did a good job.
What about his ability to chase down the leader?
Well, the car's been a little bit tight all day, and we've been waiting for a long run to see if it'll even out. And it looks like the longer we run, the closer we get to Elliott. But we don't know whether to adjust it now. So we do know later in the race we're going to adjust it to where it'll be able to run fast on the short run. We'll have to loosen it up a little bit.
Okay, thank you. Gary Nelson, number 42 crew chief for Kyle Petty on how it's going.
Ken, the car had that very characteristic. The longer it ran, the better it got. He started running Elliott down a little bit. Right now on the restart, he's tight. The 26 car is running all over him. And they're going to have to make that adjustment like Gary said, or either the car just wait on a long green run to be able to run it down.
And once again, the 9 car bids adieu to everybody and just drives off into the sunset here. There goes the Dawsonville Flash. Awesome Bill from Dawsonville, Georgia. Elliott just wheeling away from second place man Kyle Petty, who has his mitt full of car number 26. Brett Bodine is back in that Buick, knocking on the door for second place. Mark Stahl going another lap down on the inside. Pulling up behind Bodine, Brett Bodine, is Ricky Rudd in 4th. And 5th is Jeff Bodine in the Junior Johnson number 11. 6th is Morgan Shepherd. 7th is Gant. 8th is Schrader. And up to 9th is number 30, Michael Waltrip. A pretty good day of it.
And Ken, we're having a pretty good race of it right here, except for the 9 car being out about 2 blocks in front of these guys.
Well, look here, we have the brothers Bodine, Jeff and Brett. Let's see if they would get together as family. Let's see if the big brother lets the little brother know, hey, I'm the race car driver. I was here before you. Or if he'll just follow his little brother.
Morgan Shepherd has moved into 6th position. Ken Schrader has fallen to 7th. Harry Gant is 8th. Davey Allison 9th. Waltrip in 10th. And Alan Kowicki comes back to 11th spot with his 4th. There's the number 5. That's Rudd running 5th. Here's number 17. Remember, poor Waltrip, Darrell's gone and lap down, got himself 19th position after that switch around on pit stops.
Yeah, Darrell had the bad luck of having to come in early and made the stop, and then he got lapped.
But look at this struggle going on for the 6th position. Morgan Shepherd in the 15, and with him Ken Schrader in the 25. And here's the battle for 2nd spot. 42, Kyle Petty on the outside. Brett Bodine trying to take him low, and with him comes Jeff Bodine in number 11. And the Bodine brothers trim those cars right there, nose to tail, down the main straightaway.
Let's see if Jeff goes with his brother or with Kyle Petty in this drafting situation. I don't know. I feel like Ricky Rudd's going to jump on the outside and make it a good 4-way battle.
There's the Pictures from the Quaker State Buick. Brett Bodine giving us these shots. It's like World Wrestling Federation here. The Bodine brothers trying to pin poor Kyle Petty. And car number 11 coming on the inside. Jeff Bodine working Ricky Rudd. There's fourth spot for number 11. Rudd in fifth.
Over there. That's a good exit off of that corner. Big long back straightaway. Going in 3 here. These cars are really getting way down in the corners with these radial tires. And I'll have to be the first one to tell you, at the top of the show, we were concerned about the radial tire. Evidently, Goodyear's right on top of it. These things are working good today.
Here's Bill Elliott, number 9, continuing to draw away. Bill Elliott gives us his opinion of this Charlotte track.
Well, Charlotte's a difficult racetrack. It's always hard to set up for because 1 and 2 is normally different than 3 and 4. And 3 and 4 always changes so much during the day. And you just got to give it your best shot and hope you got it right. And this place will change as much as any racetrack we go to throughout the day. And that's the thing you have to work toward. And us running the radial tires here for the first time will make things different also.
Elliott in front, continuing to work his way away from the rest of the field. Kyle Petty in second, and then it is Brett Bodine running in third. 181 laps are complete. The 10 car, Derek Cope, twice a winner this year. Moving on, Michael Waltrip, and just getting around him. It's Derek Cope taking over in 11th. Michael Waltrip falls into 12th. Right behind them, Mark Martin, the point leader. There's that battle for second place heating up again. Brett Bodine takes the Buick and barrels down the inside, putting Kyle Petty's Pontiac
Brett
back
Bodine,
to third.
Jeff Bodine turning down pit road.
The fourth place car, number 11, Jeff Bodine on pit road.
He's coming in slowly. It's almost like the motor is off.
Looking out the back of Brett Bodine's car.
Going under the hood of the number 11 car, Jeff Bodine.
Kyle Petty's number 42. Low angle shot. And a sad one here for car number 11, the Junior Johnson team. 42, Kyle Petty settles in for another run. Bob Marsh is down there in the pits.
I am here. They're looking down into the engine well, and it appears that it's a drivetrain related problem. They're rocking the car back and forth, trying to find out what the problem is. They're poking the block underneath the air cleaner. It appears that it might have lost a spark plug or something. Now the distributor cap comes off. Evidently it's electrical problem for Jeff Bodine.
Chuck Bound has spun. There is no caution out. He has spun into the grass down here at the start-finish line on the playing field directly across from us, and he's back underway.
No caution on the deal, so he was way off of the track in the center.
You can see he's bent up the rear quarter panel right side.
That's the Tex Powell car. Chuck, this is his first outing in this car, and you can see when he bent it, that's tire smoke rubbing against the fender. He'll have to come in this time and get new tires.
And he'll take a couple of laps deficit here. Second place, car number 42, Kyle Petty for the moment. And Schrader, that is for third place. Kyle Petty in third, Ken Schrader in fourth. Brett Bodine is second, Bill Elliott out in front. This is the battle for third. Mike Joy at the STP Pit Center.
With Rusty Wallace, who's out of this race, what did they finally find with your car?
Well, they put me out of the race, it really did, but
the rocker arm studs are just something that normally never breaks, and it broke all 4 of them off. So this is something I can't hardly believe it's happened, but it did today.
Well, you've had a chance to run with these guys in this red flash here, Elliott's car. Can anybody catch him, and what has he found that nobody else has today?
Well, I don't think anybody can catch him right now. Basically, what he's found is a good combination on a new radial tire. All the aggressive driving style that myself and Earnhardt have been able to use before is pretty well out the window. You got to drive these tires straight. You can't break them loose, and Bill's found a real good setup. When we come back, that's what we're going to have to work on.
So the smooth guys like Elliott, Brett Bodine, Ricky Rudd, this race may come to them?
It might come to them. It looks that way. It looks like I'm going to have to tame myself down with a lot of others, but the chassis setup I had in the car was an awful tight setup. I was very leery of it, but it did run pretty good, you know. It looks like it was running 5th, 6th, 7th back in that area, but, you know, I'm just going to have to work at some shocks, camber settings, springs, shocks, all that type of stuff when we come back. A lot of testing it's going to take.
Okay, that's the defending Winston Cup champion out of the race today.
Bad one for Rusty Wallace. Had high hopes, and they all went up in smoke as we saw time after time, bringing that car back on the track to no avail. Bob Barcia has this report.
Mike Beam presides serenely over Bill Elliott's combination of this race. Mike, you have really strapped your man into a rocket today. What's your secret?
Well, I tell you, it's a new car, and, you know, it's the first time we ran it. You know, we've been really good here the last couple weeks. You know, we won Dover and our short track program. It's what I call our Speedway program, you know, and we come off the truck, it was pretty good. We tested up here, you know, we had a great test, but, you know, all the boys in the shop, they worked real hard to get this car ready, you know, and everybody here at the racetrack, you know, we've been here working hard, and Bill, you know, he's just out there just, you know, hopefully we can hang on for our fans. You know, Harry and everybody, you know, and I hope you have a good day.
Tell them to have a nice drive.
Here's Elliott staying in front. And again, the story is he draws away from the field, just leaves them out there. Watching Bobby Hamilton's car go back to the garage area, and Hamilton's car will be the 6th retiree from the event. Hamilton now out of it. Let's go to Mr. Pfister. He has this report just in case you're hungry.
That's right, Ken. We all know what the basic 4 food groups are, but when you come to a NASCAR event, you just take that and throw it right out of the window, because here, the 4 basic food groups are grease, fat, starch, and sugar, and we found them all in one stand. It's called the funnel cake stand. What they do is they take this funnel, as you can see them putting it in the grease right now, they drop it in there, and it fries it up. They throw the sugar on top of it, and it's just a beautiful, tasty treat. Got a big one here for you and Johnny and Neil up in the booth. I think you guys will like this one a lot.
I don't think it'll make my diet at all.
I tell you what, that is about the best looking thing I've seen. These funnel cakes. I first had my first one in Pocono, Pennsylvania, and it was a magic moment for me, and I followed the funnel cake man around. I've seen him 4 or 5 times since I've been here.
That's the problem. You saw car number 11 being rolled back. Junior Johnson's car, the Ford, Jeff Bodine at the controls, has gone back to the garage area. He would be the 7th retiree from the event if they can't bring it back out. Crew pushed it back to the garage, not go just behind the wall, but all the way back to the garage area. Elliott stays first, Brett Bodine second, Ken Schrader third, Kyle Petty fourth, Ricky Rudd fifth. Davey Allison is in sixth, Morgan Shepherd seventh, Harry Gant eighth, Alan Kowicki up to ninth, Derek Cope 10th with Michael Waldrop 11th, and running 24th is Richard Petty in car number 43. 194 laps are complete at 3:34. That's the story at the present time. Elliott first, Bodine second, Kyle Petty third, Schrader fourth, and Ricky Rudd in fifth. Anybody want one of my bananas? Huh? You sure? What?
Something happened to Mark Martin. He's calling back there. He just went back.
Yep.
Except that 3 cars go by him in a row. See, something's wrong with that thing. 6 car.
Yeah, bad wrong. He must have a tire going down.
Either that or he's got motor, because it's
looks like motor.
Maybe 7-cylinder. It's motor, because he didn't come down pit road. Earnhardt's about to catch him, and he's going half speed.
It's all I can do to keep you straight, Fred.
Would that be wild? Earnhardt take the lead. Mark break.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
Dale Earnhardt fans, don't be despondent just yet. There appears to be something happening. Remember, if you're just joining us, that Earnhardt is running 7 laps down. He's had some major problems at the mid-distance of the race. Got hit on pit road by Ernie Irvin's car. Lost some laps. But now it appears that number 6 is backing up, and backing up dramatically.
I don't know what happened. The last couple of laps, there's been about 3 or 4 cars go by Mark pretty easily. Looks like he's off the pace at the end of the straightaway. Maybe someone can get in the pits and then find out what's wrong with it.
And remember, we're just past. We're at 199 of 334 to be run, with 3 races left on the tour this year after they come here. Looking forward to Rockingham and Phoenix, Arizona, and Atlanta, Georgia. If Martin starts to back up into the clutches of Earnhardt down a few laps, that race for the championship is not over. However, if he's able to stay up and really run strong, Dale Earnhardt will really have his work cut out with just 3 to go. But here he is, not running at the pace we saw earlier.
Well, as soon as we say that, he picked the pace back up, because he was dropping back real slow, and now he seems to be running with those cars now.
It looked like he almost had some major problem, because 3 cars went by him and he fell way behind him, and he's able to stay right there with him now.
Rick Wilson, Dick Trickle, and Dale Jarrett all just sped by him. Here's the 28 car, Davey Allison underneath Ricky Rudd and taking 4th position. At 4 to Davey Allison, scoots down beneath the Chevrolet. There's the Tullius number 44 down to the bottom of the racetrack, Jim Sauter driving. And to the outside, here's Kyle Petty's number 42, trying to come back to life. From 6th position into 5th position goes Kyle in the 42.
Gary Nelson told us earlier, Ken, that the car worked better on the long run. The car was too tight on fresh tires. They've got that long run going now, and he's coming just like he did before, back up through the field.
I think we ought to check in with Barry Dotson on something like that. He's the expert on how those things loosen up and tighten up during a race.
Yeah, we're getting down to, if it goes green, 2 more pit stops. What they'll have to do, if they get a caution, is free Kyle's car up. He cannot afford to give up that much distance on a restart, hold the rest of the field up, and let Bill Elliott get away.
Barry, what do you do besides count the laps when a guy like Elliott is hitched up as he is today, and he's just driving away from everyone?
I tell you what, if he finishes, it looks like he's going to win it. You can make a few adjustments, but he's just too strong. He's going to be hard to beat.
What's making the difference? What's making the difference on the car that's leading the 42, the 25, the 26, all of that?
I think Rusty hit on a key point a while ago. Bill's driving style has a lot to do with it, and he's got, looks like a perfect chassis setup thanks to Mike Bean.
Well, as we look here, we see the 28 car, Davey Allison in 4th, then Kyle Petty in the 5th position, number 42. Running well down from that leader. There is Elliott out in front.
Again, there's one thing that there's some real nervous people on pit road, and it's Bill Elliott's crew. This is too easy. Anytime you drive away like that, you just know you've got the race won. If the car will last, then you start wondering what will happen to that car. Neil, have you gone through that?
I'll tell you, I was up in Dover one time. I had a big lead. The Wood brothers kept saying, slow down, slow down. The slower we went, I finally called back and said, don't be slow down anymore. He said, no, we can't slow down anymore. We are. The motor broke a timing chain. I fell out of the race. Sometimes the easiest ones you got in your grasp, something mechanically will put you out.
You see Schrader in the 25 running 2nd to the bottom of the racetrack, and here comes Brett Bodine pulling around him and going into 2nd spot. Schrader falls to 3rd. Now he falls behind Davey Allison, and he backs up another spot.
Schrader's coming down pit road.
Pit stop scheduled perhaps. Wasn't he a little out of sync anyway with the field? We'll see. Chris Economaki is there as number 25, defending champion, the Mello Yello 500, brings her on pit road.
And this one is an under-the-hood problem. Smoke belching out of the left-hand exhaust pipe, an engine problem of some sort. One man looking at it. Tires, fuel, and now the problem under the hood. Ken Schrader running up with the leader smoke all day long. Now has got problems that require the lifting of the hood to service. The man is still looking. He can't quite tell. Kenny shuts it off, and he takes the net down. He'll be stepping out of the car. Maybe we can get a word with him. Apparently, the car is done for the day. A tough break for Ken Schrader. Come back to us in a minute or two, and we'll talk to Ken Schrader.
The Chevrolet that had started in fourth, the defending champion, Schrader, being rolled back to the garage area, and he becomes the 9th retiree from the event. Here's number 6, Mark Martin, who's running in 15th. Let's find out what's going on with that car. Bob Barsha.
Ted, Steve Beal, the crew team manager, I should say, has talked to his man on the wire there. Steve, Mark seems to be slowing a little bit. Has he got a problem?
Yeah, I wish I could say we're just protecting our points lead, but honestly, man, that's as good as we can do. We've been real bad loose all week. We're still real bad loose. We just haven't been able to fix it. Got a ways to go yet, but the way Bill's running, I don't believe we got a chance of running real good, but we'll try to work on it.
Well, his championship is obviously a long way from Flint.
You bet. He's running 15th. He's on the tail end of the lead lap, and he may fall out of that lap as Bill Elliott continues to just walk the field. He's pulled out to an 8-second advantage at this time.
Well, the Kenny Schrader situation is a perfect example that we just talked about. Had one of the best cars here. Something happens. If something happened to Bill Elliott, we have 10 different cars that could win this race because the rest of the cars are pretty much competitive. Bill Elliott in a class by himself.
Indeed he is. There you see him, and you see this big advantage that he's built up. Here he is, just coming down across the start-finish line. Now let's go back to the second place where we've got a battle building between the Buick of Brett Bodine, the green and white car on the outside, and Davey Allison scoots down the inside for second place. So that makes Ford first and second out here this afternoon. Ford running 1 and 2. Brett Bodine back in third. Ricky Rudd in the 4th position. Here's the Bodine car maintaining 3rd position. Set on the pole at 174 miles an hour. First pole position in the career of young Bodine. Not the youngest, but younger than Jeff.
Yeah, the feedback we got from the pits a while ago that Mark Martin was real loose. When we saw the cars pull up behind him a while ago, all of a sudden he slowed and let them by. When you're in a loose condition, you certainly don't want anybody on that back bumper. It really complicates the problem. So when somebody gets behind him, he moves over, lets them by, then he drafts in for a while.
He's a really smart race car driver, too. He will not put that car in jeopardy on purpose.
Brett Bodine takes you down through. Here's the 42 car that's running in 3rd, several car lengths behind. It's 42 Kyle Petty. Then in 5th you see Ricky Rudd. Remember that Waldrop is running 1 lap down in 16th position. The number 5 car, Rudd, is in 5th.
Walter Trigger's really given it a good run all day, though. He had the bad luck to cut down tires, but he's sure been able to run with these people. He got a little bit loose there. Rudd jumped back under him. Darrell let him go by. But Darrell Walter driven an excellent race.
Let's go to Chris Economaki.
We're here in the garage area with a disappointed Ken Schrader. You had engine trouble, I know. Tell us about the track in turn 4, Ken. What's it like?
Well, when you hit the bumps the wrong way, it shakes you loose a little bit. But I'll tell you what, the track's real slick, but the Goodyear radios are doing a good job. I really like the way they felt for the first time here. Our car was a little too tight. That's what had us a little bit slower, but it felt good. Nobody can touch Bill right now, though.
I was going to ask you, does it look like he can stay out there?
Well, yeah, if we were too tight, we hoped we could loosen up and get enough speed to catch him, but it was going to be a roll of the dice, because right now he just plain old got everybody covered.
You weren't saving anything, huh?
Well, I wasn't really saving anything, but we thought we could adjust the car and go a little faster.
Kenny, you're going to stick with your decision to stay out of the open wheel cars, except the tracks that have a roof on them?
I don't know, the Copper Classic's looking pretty good out there in Phoenix, so we'll just have to see. But pretty much we're going to stick to just stock cars.
Okay, Kenny Schrader out of today's race. Back to the booth.
6th place car, number 15, Morgan Shepherd, the Bud Moore car. And behind him comes Harry Gant in number 33, running in 7th place. Gant's had a good run. He had to go all the way to the rear. He qualified 2nd. and broke his car yesterday. Here's the 15 in that 6th position, and there you see the 33 car. Harry Gant running just behind him. There's Gant again closing up, and behind Gant comes the number 10 car in line. Actually, the 8 car is in there. Bobby Hillen, who's running back in 17th spot, 1 lap down. There's Derek Cope. He is running 8th on the field. Behind this 2-time winner this year is Alan Kowicki's number 7. Kowicki would be next, and you see the interval back to Kowicki running in 9th, and right on his rear bumper perched there is Michael Waltrip in 10th position. The 30 car, Michael Waltrip's Pontiac 10th. And Jimmy Hensley, driving for Robbie Moroso today in car number 20, would be next back in the 11th position. There's Hensley. It's coming into your frame. He's trailed by Rick Wilson in 12th with the 75 machine. There's the 20 of Jimmy Hensley doing an outstanding job, and with him comes Rick Wilson in 12th. So that's how the front of the field is deployed, with 216 laps complete of 334 to be run this afternoon in the Mello Yello 500, as Bill Elliott takes the role of dominator in this event.
Elliott had a big piece of metal stuck on his grill then when it went by. Maybe it's paper.
What?
Let's get a camera on Elliott, see if that's a piece of metal stuck in his grill.
Gotcha. Give me a second. I got to untangle the mic.
You talking to Neil?
Battle for second.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, there is something in his grill.
Looks like a piece of sheet metal. That's what I'm talking about.
Make a longer walk. Make a longer walk. Make the car run hot.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we need to get right over here. All right, now let's walk across.
Might be Fister's hot dog wrapper on the grill.
Promotional fees and consideration have been paid by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, makers of Goodyear Eagle high-performance street radials, the best-selling performance tires in the world. And by First Brands Corporation, makers of STP racing products. And by the U.S. Air Force Reserve.
Over the years, we've saved thousands of lives.
Dr. Olson, we need you over here right away. Let's set that squeeze. Get a pressure on this.
Are complete. 221 laps are complete, and Bill Elliott's lead continues to build here in this race as he puts a lap on Richard Petty in number 43, now being shown in 21st, 2 laps down. And look at that grill. There's something hanging up over that air duct.
Yeah, we were looking at it while we were waiting. It looks like a piece of sheet metal or either a piece of aluminum stuck on the grill of the car. Barry Dodson, if he's there, he can give us a little indication. Is that in an area that's going to put some overheating in the car?
I don't think so, Neil. It's a piece of paper, it appears to us, and that board's got so much cooling in the front, it won't affect him at all. Just help him go a little faster.
Kind of like plugging him up to qualify, I guess.
You got it.
Got him closed off, huh?
I'm not so sure that's not one of Mark Pfister's hot dog wrappers.
And speaking of Mark Pfister, let's find out where the Epicurean scientist has found himself of recent. Mark?
Thank you, Ken. That's some of the nicest adjectives I've ever heard used about me in a long time. We are back up in the Speedway Club showing you the real 4 basic food groups, and they're eating real well up here. You got your salads, you got your potato salad, carrots, beans, just real good food upstairs, but I'm going to take you to my favorite part of the Speedway Club. It's right on the other side. Follow me real quick, and this is my favorite food group, strawberry cheesecake. Now, we're talking good eating.
I like it. You're a good man, Mark.
Yeah, see, I knew he wouldn't go near the window to watch the race. He'd head right for the desserts.
And while Mark was doing this, Bill Elliott got rid of that piece of paper on the grill. He's ready to go racing again.
6 car is off the pace, just lost the cylinder. Just got a report from pit road. They just said he lost the cylinder.
Well, I tell you, this points thing is crazy. It goes back and forth, back and forth.
Wouldn't it be something if after all of this, that engine goes up in smoke, and guess who's still running out there?
Bill Elliott's just getting ready to drive by him to put him a lap down.
Watch this as they come around. Here is Bill Elliott in the 9, putting Mark Martin 1 lap down.
The key to this right here is what is broken in the engine. Is it a piece that'll stay up in the valve covers? Is it a piece to stay in the galley where the lifters are? Not get down there in the lower assembly of the engine and lock it up.
Let's talk to the expert about that. Barry Dotson, what do you think?
He's got a nurse at home. He has no choice. If he could run faster, he doesn't need to do it. Dale lost enough time. We're coming on pretty much close to 100 laps to go, a little more than that. He's just got to finish. It's so important.
What do you tell a driver right now when you're the crew chief on pit road, Barry?
Take it easy. Don't abuse it. Watch the gauges and let us know if anything changes.
That's a terrible feeling to be in a car like that. That thing, you know, you want it to finish and you want to run as fast as possible. Even though they're telling you on the radio to back the pace down, you say, well, I can go a little bit harder. Then you self-destruct. The crew chief has got to make you work with it. And here's the other problem. Earlier in the day, when the wheels came off of Dale's car, and we're sitting here with Mark Martin having a problem, what else can happen today to the points leaders?
Remember, he had spun earlier and crashed up in turn 4. He'd come in, took on rubber, missed communication, and $1 million may have flown with that tire down off turn 1. But now the circumstance changes again, and the man in trouble is the man he is challenging for first place in the standings, Mark Martin in the 6th. But nobody is challenging this guy. He's making it his own show, the Bill Elliott show. It's been kind of quiet around the pool hall in Dawsonville, Georgia this year. It's about to change. They've got the old fire siren all wound up by now, ready to turn her loose if it keeps going the way it is thus far. Chris Economaki.
Right. We're here with Steve Mayo. Steve, I understand that Mark Martin's lost the cylinder. If that's the case, what's it do to the speed of the car, and how long can he stay out there?
I don't know. We told him to just lay off for a while, try to run as long as we can. Got about 100 laps to go. We'd like to think we could make it, but, you know, we just have no idea what's broken. We're pretty sure whatever it is we can't fix. We're just going to ride around, take it easy, make sure we can finish the race.
Has he had to ease up?
Oh, yeah, he's lifted a bunch. Yeah, we're not running hard at all. We just want to get this mess over with.
Okay, Steve Mayo, Mark Martin shooting for the national championship, having to take it easy.
And I think that's a perfect quote for him, and how disappointed, because they could have closed this thing out today or put Dale in deep trouble. And now let's just get this mess over with and go on to the next race.
230 laps are now complete. Alan Kowicki is pitting, and there you see Martin falling back into the clutches of others now. He's gone a lap down. Alan Kowicki is, Mark Martin is 1 lap down, and Alan Kowicki has gone in front of him in that lap down. Kowicki is running 14th. Martin is falling to 15th, and Darrell Waltrip is ready to challenge Martin and take that position away from him and put him back to 16th. We have 13 cars running the lead lap as Bill Elliott is out in front, and green flag pit stops are coming up. Here is Kyle Petty coming on pit road. Morgan Shepherd coming in. Bill Elliott continuing to lead. Bobby Hillen pitting. It is a green flag pit stop situation with 231 laps down. We'll be back with more of the Mello Yello 500 from Charlotte shortly.
Around the inside, it's already moved out against the wall and started running harder. It might be interesting to see if they go against it.
Yes, I am, Dennis. Yes, I am.
Dale's going to pick the pace back up.
We need a couple of things. We need somebody harder to slow the most laps on one of these spots. That's number one. Number two, keep checking that interval.
It's now 10 seconds.
Okay. We need to know that, and that's an important part of the story. No, we got to find it. Most laps led by a guy.
Looks like the 6 cars getting slower and slower.
Right on a wide shot, right to Mike.
Car, pit road.
Leader on pit road.
Look up here, set sideways.
Leader on pit road, lap 235. Bill Elliott comes in. Leaders all taking this opportunity. Martin has come in. Remember, he has gone a lap down. The leaders all coming in, and the stop is made by Bill Elliott back underway, dominating this race. Who has dominated it before? We go back to 1966. Leroy Yarborough, driving for John Thorne in a Dodge, led 301 laps that year. This man, Bill Elliott, could break that record with the domination he showed. Here's Bob Barcia.
Dale Earnhardt brings the car in. The crew has gone to work. Looks like it'll be right side tires. Now they come around to the left side. David Smith throws the jack under the car. Remember, this is a 4-time world champion pit crew, and they are really earning their money today. They've had to bring Dale Earnhardt's car back from the brink of disaster. He's still out there turning laps. Earnhardt's pit, you should know, is right between that of Kyle Petty and Bill Elliott. A moment ago, Felix Sabatis, Kyle Petty's car owner, caught the eye of Mike Beam, Bill Elliott's crew chief, took the white handkerchief out of his pocket and waved it over his head, and then gave out a big laugh.
Bob Barcia, while you're in the pits there, it seems like since Marcus had the trouble that Dale had moved out and started running a little bit harder, see if they change their strategy since they're having a little trouble if they're going to pick up the pace with their car.
That's a good story that perhaps Dale Earnhardt is putting more pressure on now, is running stronger. For a while he was just making time, trying to stay out here and score whatever points he could from attrition. But now he realizes that Martin is backing up a heap. 238 laps are complete, and after these pit stops under green, guess what? No big guess at all. Bill Elliott continues to lead. Davey Allison, however, is second. Brett Bodine is third. Kyle Petty is fourth. Ricky Rudd fifth. Morgan Shepherd is sixth. And Harry Gant is in seventh. Let's get a Goodyear Racing update. Got a spinner out of turn number 2. Believe that might be Rick Wilson's car that's come to rest out there, and caution is coming out right after this period. That's the second time we've seen that happen today. Right after they make these green flag stops, we get a caution flag.
You know, the stop, Elliott took 4 tires where most of the leaders just took 2.
So here comes number 75, Rick Wilson, back out after spinning and bringing out the 5th caution of the afternoon. 5th caution of the day comes at lap 240.
That'll put the field all back together with 13 cars showing in the lead lap. Bill Elliott stays first. Davey Allison second. So it's Ford 1 and 2, a Buick, a Brett Bodine third, and Kyle Petty's Pontiac is fourth. Back once again under caution at the Charlotte Motor Speedway with 240 laps complete in the Mello Yello 500. And let's go down to the pit center with Mike Joy.
Ken, this Goodyear Racing update. We have Busch Grand National and IndyCar Racing. Yesterday's $400,000 All-Pro Auto Parts 300 started by point standings, but it didn't stay that way long. Bobby Labonte in number 44 took an early lead, but Dale Earnhardt swept up through the pack, taking no prisoners with him and taking Bobby Hamilton and Dale Jarrett up along for the ride toward the front of the field. As we came to the halfway point, there's Earnhardt getting against Steve Grissom, recovered, kept on charging. Then it was Sterling Marlin to battle Earnhardt and go to the front and take the $25,000 halfway bonus. Then 15-minute halftime while the crews made adjustments. When we came back, Marlin and Dale Jarrett in 32 traded the lead back and forth. Close pursuit by Ward Burton, up and comer in number 9. Cecil Eunice blown engine. That was the only caution in the second half. Marlin edged Greg Sachs there at the wire by 12 car lengths to win it. Jarrett was third. Chuck Bound finished 13th, but his pursuer in the point race, Jimmy Hensley, was a lap down. Bound extends his lead with just 3 races to go in the season. On the kart IndyCar circuit, Al Unser Jr. sewed up the championship. Emerson Fittipaldi won the Grand Prix at Nazareth, Pennsylvania over Mears and Rahal. Unser, involved in a minor collision, went to the hospital with a mild concussion, but sewed up the kart championship. And finally today here at Charlotte, Ford Motor Company honored Chris Economaki with a Lifetime Motorsports Achievement Award. He'd already got to immortality. He's got his own Max race card. Happy birthday and congratulations, Chris. Let's go back upstairs.
Let's go right to Chris Economaki, who's standing on his soapbox down there on pit road.
Well, I think that there's so much been said of late about women and men's sports that I've got to say a few words on that. Auto racing for years was a man's sport until Tony Hummon, the president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway,
Chris, get off that.
Opened the gate.
Chris, get off your soapbox right now.
To women a number of years ago.
Christopher,
well,
Chris, get off your soapbox.
Women are much a part and parcel of automobile racing these days.
Chris,
yes?
Chris, there's a gentleman up here named France, Bill France, that wants you to get off that soapbox right now. He has something to tell you.
Well, you tell Bill France that nobody's going to get me off my soapbox.
Well, he is right now. This is important stuff.
Okay, I'll listen.
Chris, on behalf...
I'm listening.
On behalf of all the NASCAR members from all over the United States, we wish you a happy 70th birthday, and you've been a great credit to the sport.
Well, that's very nice of you, Bill. Thank you very much. But I'm not going to get off my soapbox.
Well, get off every now and then,
no,
Chris.
Seriously, we're talking about women in sport, the locker room scandals and so forth with women there. But automobile racing today has very much a place for women. Our pit reporter yesterday, Beth Tushak, an excellent woman. Our producer of this show is Patty Wheeler, a woman. There's some fine women racing drivers. Patty Moise, Lynn St. James, years ago, Janet Guthrie, Shirley Muldowney, Laurie Johns. And in the pits here, there's probably as many women as there are men. Of the 41 cars that took the green flag today, 21 of them are being scored by women and 20 by men. I want to borrow a line from Maurice Chevalier. Thank heaven for little girls.
Chris, on behalf of all the NASCAR members, we agree with you for one of the first times in your history that women are welcome at NASCAR and in motorsport.
Thank heaven for little girls. But you can't get him off his soapbox, Bill. It's impossible.
Well, he's a great man, though.
Thanks for coming by for a moment. Just can't stop that Economaki once he gets on a roll. Let's get back to the race. We're back under green another time here. And as we do, happy 70th birthday, Father Economaki. On the backstretch, Bill Elliott stays first, Davey Allison in second. And Christopher decides he's going to deliver from his soapbox. It could be the president. It could be Bill France. He's going to go straight ahead, huh, Neil?
I tell you, he's hard to deal with.
He is a piece of work. In the third spot as we get back into the race, Morgan Shepherd, Harry Gant is in fourth, Michael Waltrip fifth, Derek Cope is in sixth. 244 laps are complete, about 90 to go.
That's right. You're saying in third spot is so-and-so, but look here, here's number 17 on third spot on the racetrack. Darrell's showing some muscle now, like he's trying to get some of his time back.
Yeah, Darrell Waltrip running a lap down to the 17, trying to get back a lap here, and he's only showing 1 lap down. But for the moment, it is still Elliott dominating this race as we haven't seen it.
Got a car in the wall.
Car in the wall.
Big trickle off the 4 turn.
And he slams into another car. Bobby Hillen getting hit. The 66 car, the Trop Arctic car, bouncing off the wall, and then he collects Hillen in the 8. Hillen's car is directly below the start-finish line, pointed in the wrong direction, up toward turn number 4, and look at the side of that. Savage after that 160-mile-per-hour crash coming out of turn 4. The field is racing back to the line, and Hillen's number 8 is pulled right out across the start-finish line.
Boy, it looked like Trickle got in the wall up in the middle, 3 and 4, came off the wall, and Hillen got into him, and he's sitting in a terrible place on the racetrack.
Boy, that can really get you hurt. He was lying down there against the wall. Here is the 66 car in trouble up there in that turn 4, which has been the critical part of the track. Nails Hillen.
Hillen had nowhere to go, and Dick just couldn't hold it against the wall. He was trying to hold the car against the wall, and it just, the steering probably broke on it, just pushed right in front of traffic. And we've got to remember that Dick Trickle has an injured leg. He hit that wall hard.
Yeah, he went across driver induction day on crutches, so he's still having a lot of trouble with it. There's the end car.
245 laps complete when this incident took place, showing 247 when they come by this time.
This car right here is the one that had the head cam on the helmet. If that thing was running when this happened, you're going to see what a jolt this was.
Be some kind of impact on car number 66, the Trop Arctic car of Dick Trickle, as he begins to unhitch, climb out of that thing. Here it is again.
He had already gotten in the wall one time, a little further back. The car goes up, takes a straight shot in the wall. Rear end's knocked back to the right on the car. Right now he's hanging on. The right front's destroyed, the right rear's knocked back, and he can't keep the car where he wants to go. The car's going to go in any direction it wants to go with the right front ripped off. And this time Hillen's coming in here, nowhere to go. Wham, right in the left side then. Boy, it wiped out that car in a hurry.
Hillen, a victim of circumstance, and full speed from the in-car camera. Part of the track.
Here we go. Here's the in-car camera up loose in the top of the track, trying to hold it back. The natural thing to do is steer to the right, try to correct the car. The car got a real big bite back in. There's the second lick from Hillen, and that was a real strong jolt to the left side of the car. And there's Dick shifting gears, trying to keep going.
He's walking fine without his crutches. Look at him. He's a tough old geezer, though. I'll tell you, you can't hurt these old guys.
49-year-old winner of 1,000 races. Won the first race he was ever in. And Dick Trickle out of Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, walks away from a bad one here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Here's Bobby Hillen moving away from car number 8. And we'll be back with more live on TBS of the 500 at Charlotte on this autumn afternoon.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. We've all had Robbie Moroso on our minds this week, and there's something that I'd like to say. But Ricky Rudd really said it better than anybody could. I'm just going to let him speak for all of us.
Rob had a tremendous future. Like I say, Rob was a human being. He made a mistake. But by no means should you hold that against him. I mean, you know, he lived a good life. He was a good person. But you know, here you got a talented race car driver. Let's look at it like this. You know, the best drivers in the world, Rob was one of them. He couldn't handle alcohol and driving. Why should a young kid on the street think he could do it when you've got the best in the world as far as driver merits couldn't do it? Kids shouldn't try it.
I'll tell you what, we've been talking all week long off and on about the radio stuff. Let's go down to Pit Center. Mike, Joy, and Barry Dodson, they've got an update on this for us.
Well, Neil, let's take a look at the differences between these two tires. If you stand them up, here's what they look like when they come out of the mold. The bias ply tire has a very definite look before you mount it up than the radial, Barry.
Yes, it does. The bias ply tire has a dip right here, as you can see. You can inflate that tire, but this dip actually won't come out until you're maybe at the end of a run, 90 miles. By then, you've worn these edges off. This is an 88-inch right rear tire on Neil Bonnett's race car. At the end of that 90-mile run, it might be 89 inches. It's an inch bigger than it was. Let's take the radial straight across. You can set a can of STP right here. It won't go anywhere. This tire is 88 inches. At the end of 90 miles, it's still 88 inches. Like Bill Elliott said, it's a great product. We just need to learn more about it. The big plus for the radial, it's almost puncture-proof.
So when this bias ply tire grows an inch over the course of that run and the radial stays constant, if the car is really hooked like Elliott's is today, it stays hooked.
That's exactly what you're seeing with number 9.
And we've been seeing it all day long. Let's go back upstairs.
Barry, you know, we've seen that happen a lot of times, and you'll see during the course of a day a guy take the lead, he might drive off, and all of a sudden he fades. when you get into the radio tire, the guy that's dominant is going to stay dominant. We're seeing some of that, Johnny.
There's one thing I would like to follow up on the Ricky Rudd quote he made recently. And Ricky Rudd asked us to make sure that everyone out there watching knew it. One of the major newspapers in North Carolina erroneously put in that Ricky Rudd had been arrested for driving under the influence. And it went in the paper, and everyone immediately started pointing fingers. But in the real case,
made the front page.
Made the front page of the paper. But in the real case, they picked up the wrong Ricky Rudd. It was not Ricky Rudd, the race car driver, and he is sick about it. He's negotiating contracts, he's doing things, and this could kill someone like his reputation. Ricky Rudd does not have traffic problems. He's never been drinking and driving, and he just wanted America to know that, hey, they picked the wrong guy, and he works real hard to live the right image.
Speaking of work, I'm going to see if I think Rudd's going to own that paper before this is over, and I'm going to see if I can
get
sports editor? Sports editor, and maybe go down and help him run the paper every now and then.
But that was a bad shot. He was so upset.
Let me tell you what, Dale Earnhardt touched on it at the press conference the other day. You know, they jump on the drivers when something like this happens. They say race car drivers do this, do that. They don't see the times at your children's hospital, that you're at racing the other night. On Monday night, we raised $112,000 for charity here in Charlotte. Every one of these drivers participate in some way, away from the racetrack, trying to help the general public. And then when something like this turns around, it's kind of a bitter shot. But the only thing we keep doing is working our side, trying to help in every way we can, and hopefully this will turn for good.
But I think the point is, as much as anything here, is that when you live life in the fast lane, when you have all this notoriety that you have to accept if you become a big-time racer, that it just behooves everyone involved in the sport, be it in the press, be it the mechanics, be it whoever, to be on your guard and to be ever vigilant about, if you care about the sport, about making sure its reputation doesn't get tarnished. All right, let's move on here. We're at 252 laps complete. We're getting set on a restart. It'll be 1 lap to green. Let's go to Bob Barsh.
Fellas, during all the hubbub, no crew has been busier than the Richard Childress Racing Goodwrench crew for Dale Earnhardt behind me. He has made 4 stops. They have changed the springs on the back of that car, and I think this answers the question Neil Bonnet asked earlier. They have definitely changed their strategy now that they hear Mark Martin running around on 7 cylinders out there. They have softened up the back of the car because all the bodywork damage on the number 3 Chevrolet has made it very loose. They want to help Dale go as fast as he can, but they know now that he can make up ground on Mark Martin.
Thank you, Bob. As we come down to the restart after this 6th caution of the day, I know this will come as a shock to many, but somehow Bill Elliott remains in front. He's only missed 15 laps being out on the point all afternoon. He has Davey Allison directly behind him, Morgan Shepherd in 3rd, so it's Ford 1, 2, and 3 as they go back under green in the Mello Yello 500 here at Charlotte.
Darrell got the jump on him a little bit. Bill's going to the outside, but Darrell's going to say, can I get it back? He's going to drive it as hard as he can.
Yes, sir. He'd love to have this lap back, put him back in contention.
Indeed, he's running just 1 lap down, now in 12th, 11 cars in the lead lap. And look at Darrell work for it on the bottom of that Chevrolet. Those Fords on the outside, for the moment, seem to have the advantage. Waltrip not giving much ground as they come around to complete this lap at speed.
Well, Davey Allison sure jumped in there. I thought for a second he might be able to take them 3 wide and get the lead. But Davey Allison's running well, ran well all week in practice. Pushed up a little bit there. Here comes Darrell back.
Nobody able to contain Elliott in the number 9 car. Here's the 15 and the 33. Dave Marcus on the bottom. Remember, he's driving injured. He's been on crutches since July down there at Daytona. Shepherd in 3rd. Harry Gant in 4th. Back in 5th is Bodine in that green and white Buick, number 26. Kyle Petty is 6th. Cope is 7th. Dale Jarrett falls to 8th. Ricky Rudd just moving around him. Rudd takes 8th. Dale Jarrett now 9th. Alan Kowicki 10th, and Michael Waltrip rounds out the cars in the lead lap, running 11th. You see the 26 car, Bodine in 5th.
Barry Dotson mentioned earlier that he feels like the 26 car will be a factor in this race. I do also. That car has been strong all day. It might not be on the point, but it's sitting right there in contention. It could be a factor in this race before it's over.
And so is Ricky Rudd in the 5 car. Here you see the 75 just in there. Rick Wilson's running 13th. Remember, he spun earlier off on the backside. 26 is in 5th.
In case you wonder what that is, coming out of the green car, that's a yellow ribbon. They furnish yellow ribbons to put inside of these race cars in honor of the guys overseas, and all of a sudden we got a yellow ribbon going out the window. I doubt seriously if they'll black flag you for that one.
No, they will not black flag you for that one.
Here's Elliott drawing away once again. Just bidding adieu to the rest of the field as we take a look at the running order for you race fans on all the participants still out here motoring in this Mello Yello 500. Elliott stays first.
And stays first, and stays first, and stays first. He's got it locked in there. It's going to be hard to handle.
Here's Elliott in first. Davey Allison now 30 car lengths behind. Doesn't take him long to get out in front.
That's what scares you about something like that when you're racing against a guy that's that strong. When he can open that kind of lead and just sit there, he's got some muscle. You know, if he's got to struggle to get away from you, but that doesn't take but 2 or 3 laps, and Bill's got the distance he wants, then he just sit there.
Comes Davey.
And there comes
Bill Elliott.
Elliott fell to the inside.
I don't know. He's going slow, or did he let him go by? Now he's picked the pace back up.
You know, that's...
I don't know.
No, he's come down pit road. Must have cut a tire down.
Yeah, he's about to lose the car. It's got to be a tire.
Must have cut a tire down.
Number 9, who has dominated the race, Elliott on pit road.
What I love about race fans, he probably got the loudest ovation when he started the race and in production. They were all for him. He just got a standing ovation for braking and coming down pit road, so they changed during the race.
Sometimes if you stink up the show, it makes him a little mad. He was running away with this one, I'm telling you.
He had him covered. Now Davey Allison's race to win in the 28.
He's changing 4 tires, and he's going to run a real close, be close on getting lap.
He's going to go
get
lap down. No way about it, other than a lap down.
But of all the people in the field, he's the most likely to be able to get a lap back. He's going to be way more than a lap behind them.
260 laps complete of 3:34 to be run. If he could get himself a caution and get hitched up, he could get back into it.
And you watch old Darrell get out after Davey Allison. This is the crafty old veteran coming at him, and he wants it back now. He couldn't get it back from Bill, but you look into that picture, and he just drove right in it.
There's Davey Allison in front, and here comes Waltrip trying to take that lap back. Davey Allison, how would you describe the way Charlotte has treated you in the past?
Well, this track has been good and not so good. You know, we've been here 1987. We should have won both Winston Cup races here, and we let problems get the best of us. I got, you know, and I blew an engine in both of the races in 1987. In 1988, I got myself in a wreck and had the fastest car in both of them. I should have won the Winston here in 1988, and throttle stopped, backed off, and held the carburetor from going wide open. So I ended up finishing 3rd in it. You know, there's some good and some bad in that. The good is that we ran good, and the bad is that we didn't finish good. And you know, we feel like that Charlotte owes us one, but we know that it never gives one away.
Ken, I don't know who's keeping up with the Timex fast lap deal, but they better get to watch out, because Elliott is going to show them what it's like to come from the rear of the front. He's passing inside, outside, and he's doing it on the straightaways and the corners. He's flying.
I was watching the same thing. It looks like everybody else is tied to the racetrack. Once he gets to this group of cars, it'll be interesting to watch him, because he is just driving by like everybody else is.
There is number 28. Here's number 9. This is Elliott, who's running a lap down. Bill Elliott in the tail end of that.
And he's just getting ready to get some cars, but I just want you to watch how fast he goes by. These are great cars.
And that is a great car. That is the 21, Dale Jarrett, that's been running 7th. He's been staying in the top 10 all day. And a little, I mean, he is skedaddling. He's running it dirt style as he comes around.
He came out on the racetrack about a 1/4 mile behind these guys, and in 2 laps he's running them down. He'll go clicking up through there in a hurry.
Remember, he's running from a lap down, and he is running in 13th position. Waltrip and Rick Wilson run in front of car number 9, 1 lap down. 10 cars now in the lead lap. The lead lap is Allison in 28 first, Shepard 2nd, Gant 3rd, Brett Bodine 4th. Change that. Put Gant up into 2nd now as he just goes by Morgan Shepard. Harry Gant taking over in 2nd. Then Morgan Shepherd 3rd, Brett Bodine 4th, Kyle Petty 5th, Ricky Rudd 6th, Dale Jarrett 7th, Cope is 8th, Kowicki 9th, Michael Waltrip 10th.
We were joking earlier about Harry Gant when somebody said they're going to make him go from the front row and put him in the back and make him start. That's Harry's strategy. He's always known to be sitting back there. All of a sudden, it's time to win the race. Who shows up? Harry Gant. He's came from last, and he's right in contention now.
Here he is in the second spot, trying to close on Davey Allison.
Well, his main goal is to beat Michael
Elliott's back down pit road.
Uh-oh. Elliott's coming down pit road.
Second time in the last 8 laps for Elliott on pit road. Bob Barcia.
Bill Elliott brings the number 9 back in. I think the problem is a broken wheel. He's got terrible shaving of the inside of the wheel at the left rear. Another one comes off, a new set go on the left side. No adjustments to the race car other than new tires and some more fuel. But they'll take another close look. The left rear wheel is going very bad on the number 9 car.
If that's the case, we might ask Barry Dodson, but there's a possibility there's something wrong with the caliper, the brake caliper. If something's eating the wheels up, it's got to be a problem causing it.
Yeah, it could be, and when you get in that big a hurry, it could be a loose wheel. You don't know. If there's one that will come loose first, like it did with us last year, trying to win the championship, it was the left rear. It tries to come loose. It drives against it. So we'll have to wait and see what happened here. It's just a tough break for Bill, but like you said, Neil, if anybody can make up that ground, he can do it.
Well, now he's almost 2 laps down as Davey Allison is closed up behind him. There you see Davey going into turn number 1 before this great throng. Then the lap car of Darrell Waltrip that is riding in 11th place, 1 lap down the 17 car. And moving up behind Davey, here comes 33. Harry Gant closing in that 33 Oldsmobile car that started from the rear of the field. Morgan Shepherd's number 15 is 3rd. Brett Bodine is in 4th. Right behind him in 5th is Kyle Petty. Actually, there's about 10 car lengths between Brett Bodine and Kyle Petty. Elliott led 242 laps when he pitted 10 laps ago.
Like we said earlier, everything was just too easy. It seems like when that happens, something will go wrong on it.
Now here's the guy leading the race, and we're just bragging on him going down the back straightaway. And then he has this trouble, then turns right around and has another problem.
You see Gant in the 33, continuing to try to clip time away from Davey Allison in the 28. As the complexion of the race has had another major change. A major change in the championship battle earlier, as the wheels literally fell off the effort of Dale Earnhardt in the championship race. Now, Mark Martin has had problems. He's backed up, running in 14th position, and he's running on 7 cylinders. Davey Allison has taken over in the lead. Harry Gant in 2nd, Shepherd in 3rd. Here's your leader. But that Ford is beginning to feel some pressure from the Oldsmobile of Gant, the 1982 champion here. There you see the interval from 1st back into 2nd position.
Looks like old Alf is on the move.
We have a problem. Sunspots are starting to blacken out our picture. It'll come back shortly. The audio will stay good, so don't turn us off. We're going to be right back here in a minute as soon as I can get these sunspots cleaned up.
You going to fix them, John?
Yeah, NASA has me to do stuff like that once in a while, clean up sunspots. That's why they call me Johnny Sunspot.
Happens once a year, and it always seems to happen in Charlotte. Unbelievable.
Elliott on pit road again. We got serious problems. Elliott's back on pit road.
If it's a left rear wheel, they've got something creating a problem.
And so for the 2nd lap down goes Elliott in car number 9. Let's go to Bob Barcia.
Apparently what the problem with Elliott's car is his left rear tire equalized, brought the bodywork in the car down to the point where the hub was actually wobbling and wearing out the inside of the wheel. It's obviously a chronic problem. It's going to take them a while to get something like that fixed, if they can fix it at all.
So with 272 of 334 laps complete, the day that looked so golden for Bill Elliott has turned another sad hue.
Back with you once again at the Charlotte Motor Speedway with 276 laps complete, and we understand the sunspots have gone away. I guess that must happen only on Economackey's birthday or something. Anyway, here's Davey Allison out in front. His race to win now, with victory in sight for that Ford prepared by Robert Yates. Here's the 26 car just getting around the 15. That's Brett Bodine moving into third, and Morgan Shepherd falling to fourth. Harry Gant is staying second on the field. See a lap car in between them there, the 75. The yellow car of Rick Wilson is now 12th. Incidentally, Jack Pennington has worked his way to 13th, and the rookie is one lap down from the leaders and having a very good run.
Again, he's having a good run, but he's been working. I've seen him on several occasions come off turn 4 with a rear end really hung out on the car. The car's not just like he wants it, but he's running very well with it. Here's Davey just cruising right along. It seemed like it shifted over from Bill to Davey. There's Darrell just barely in the shot there. Darrell was on the verge of getting his lap back, and he hasn't been able to get up there with him yet.
Ernie Urban going another lap down with the nose all sawed off his car. Big smoker.
Looks like
going
the 12 car.
Going down into turn number 1, and if it is the 12, then Hut Strickland, who had a good start here today and then got backed up in the midst of the race. Let's see what that is. Indeed, it looks like Bobby Allison's car number 12. It's on the bottom of the racetrack, but is not bringing out a caution at this moment.
I know that Elliott is several laps down now, but he's on the verge of getting one of those back. He's coming up on Darrell, and then he'll be right back up on Davey.
In the racing business, there are a lot of different situations out on the track. We asked Davey Allison what the worst situation could be.
The worst thing that could happen would be to be sitting in the middle of the racetrack, you know, with oncoming traffic, racing back to the yellow flag. That's the worst thing that could happen. And, you know, the suspense would just tear you apart. Hopefully nobody would hit you, but, you know, that's one of the most frightening things about this business. And when you sit down and think about it, it's scary. So I put it out of my mind. I don't think about it. Don't ask some kind of question.
Well, that's the worst situation for him. I think the worst situation I ever saw was when he went across a guardrail at Darlington. His car erupted in fire. We all knew he was in the car. His daddy pulled up, stopped, jumped out of his car, went in and stuck his head in a burning race car to save his son, and David already hit the road. And so it scared me to death, and I know it did his daddy.
Well, we saw Davey Allison out here describing a moment ago what was really the worst moment for him, and that's indeed the moment that Bobby Hillen lived down here in the start-finish line. And I know Neil Bonnett's gone through it here at Charlotte. Let's go to our Mark Pfister, who's really hot.
Thank you very much, Ken. We're up on the roof now. At the top of the show, we told you about the 150,000 plus that showed up for the race today. Well, they had to get here somehow. As you can see behind me, here's most of the cars for the race. And at $5 a pop, Humpy Wheeler's going to make some cash. Now, Highway 29 is behind me. Real easy traffic going right now, but in an hour, when the race gets over and you're stuck in it, you better have packed a lunch because you're going to be there a while.
Well, they've got all those, they've got, what, 160 troopers to try to get them out of here.
Oh, yeah.
And all the traffic.
And they do the best job anywhere in racing, I think, of getting people in and out. They'll block a highway and run 4 lanes one way and 4 lanes the other way. They get you out of here well. I'd really like to thank Mark Pfister because he brought some cake over from the rich people over in the Speedway Club to Neil and I, and it made us both bigger people.
I'll take back some of the bad things I've said about Mark in the past. Just some of them.
Look at number 9.
Down here, we just see where Harry Gant makes some good stuff with equalized tire. Bill Elliott had trouble with equalized tires. Several other drivers have had the same trouble. Why are tires suddenly equalizing? I don't know whether Barry Dodson or Neil Bonnet should answer that question.
Oh, this is Neil, but let's throw that to Barry. He's been down there. He's working with the tire more. Barry, do you know what's going on with that?
Well, you don't know about an equalized tire. The bad thing is it puts you in a predicament like Bill might have been in. You have to get 4. The car vibrates so bad you can't pick out which one it is. What it simply is when the tire, the air from the inner tire gets in the outer tire, you just cannot stand it. You got to come in.
There you see Elliott taking back one of those laps that he is down. But car number 9 isn't giving up. Bill Elliott getting right back into this thing, taking one back. A caution put him right back in this hunt big time.
And Darrell Waltrip is closed up real tight on getting his lap back. I think Davey's car's gotten a little loose, but it looks like Darrell is about to get a shot at getting his back. We got to remember Bill Elliott has new tires and new rubber, so he does have better rubber, but looks like Davey slowed down a little bit.
As Elliott had the field covered now on new rubber, that rocket ship number 9 is gaining 2 and 3 car lengths per lap. There are 286 laps complete. 334 is the distance. There you see Elliott's number 9 drawing away from the 28. Down a lap and that distance back. Here's the 17. Waltrip trying to get his lap back with that Chevrolet.
Darrell's really got a lot more to gain right now than Bill. Bill is a couple of laps down. Darrell is 1 down. Darrell gets around him, he's back in contention again. And he's won a lot of races at this racetrack.
The situation on Mark Martin, he is running 2 laps down and is in 14th position.
To give you a little more insight on where that is with Dale and with Mark, since they had the last caution, Mark and Dale are still, they haven't changed anything. Dale hasn't been able to make a lap up on Mark, so Mark's staying in the same lap with Dale, so that wherever they stood before, they're just about at that level now.
Harry Gant with such a great record on this track. Won here in '82. He's had a couple of seconds out here. Had a second a year ago. Here he is closing another time, getting right back into this thing in that second position and closing again on the 28. The 28 left him for a while. Now he's finding him another time.
Well, you can see on pit road Harry Gant's crew standing over the wall. Signed man's there waiting for him to come in. But so I guess Harry feels like he had a problem with the car, but now he's pulling off again. So maybe they don't have a problem.
The Oldsmobile of Harry Gant trying to find any advantage to close on Davey Allison. What he'd really like is a caution flag right here and try to get his 12th Winston Cup career win at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll be back with more as we move in on the finish of the Mello Yello 500 for 1990 on this great 1.5-mile facility.
We need to get down here now. We've got, this should be pay TV. We're educating so much today. We've got Barry Dodson down there. We're certainly going to take advantage of him and Mike Jordan down there. And they're going to enlighten us on some of this front steer, rear steer stuff.
Well, Neil, we've explained front steer, where the steering linkage is in front of that cross member of the center line of the wheels, and rear steer where it's behind. But Barry's going to show us what that means to the tires on the race car as it goes around the track.
Basically, the steering box doesn't know where it is, like right here on the front steer. It's ahead of the tires. It's up here on the rear steer. It's back here in the back. The biggest difference I've seen, and Neil Bonnets has probably felt this difference, a front steer car, the tie rod right here, pulls the front of this tire in as you go in the corner. It starts dragging this tire. You feel the whole tire. It gives you a good feel, especially with the radials. Over here with the rear steer, you see the tie rod. It's in the back. It's not in the front. You go in the turn, push it out. You abuse this part of the tire. I don't think you use nearly as much. It's a looser race car. It doesn't feel quite as good. This is our favorite. This is what we won the championship with. This is what's leading right now.
Hey, Barry, isn't there a new combination being made of front and rear steer somehow?
You know, there's a new combination, and it belongs to Bill Elliott. He won Dover with it. He ran 5th at Martinsville with it. He's had some success. You might wonder if he's incorporated some of that in today's run, because he's awful strong.
Barry, if he has, would you draw me a picture of that and send it to the house, just like you drew that one?
I tell you what, it's state of the art, whatever he's doing.
Meanwhile, car number 33, Gant, has made an unscheduled stop. He has gone a lap down. Harry Gant in car number 33 now finds himself in 11th position. 1 position behind Waltrip, a lap down, in 10th. 9 cars are in the lead lap. Michael Waltrip is that 9th, then Kowicki 8th, Cope in 7th.
The sunspots came back, folks. I hate that. I thought I had them cleaned up. Just listen to us. We'll let you know exactly what's going on, and I'll have this thing fixed in about 2 minutes.
Takes about 2 minutes for them to go by?
Well, no, I control sunspots, and I didn't realize that, you know, this was a big thing, and I didn't know Chris was having a birthday. I'll get it straightened out. Seriously, folks, there are some sunspot problems today, and it's interrupting our signal some, and they expect them to go about a couple of minutes and clear out again. The situation is this: Davey Allison's 28 is first, Morgan Shepherd is second, Brett Bodine is third, Kyle Petty is fourth, Ricky Rudd fifth, Dale Jarrett sixth, Alan Kowicki seventh, Derek Cope in eighth, and Michael Waltrip in ninth. And now there's a change of position as Michael Waltrip goes up to eighth and Derek Cope falls into that ninth position. More of the Mello Yello 500 from Charlotte after these messages. Our coverage
coverage still has the problem of sunspots, folks. We're at 302 laps here at the Mello Yello 500 Charlotte Motor Speedway. With Neil Bonnet and Johnny Hayes, I'm Ken Squire, topside, watching as the 17 car. That's Darrell Waltrip. Takes his lap back and gets in the lead lap. Going around the outside, and Davey Allison is ready to make his final pit stop. He's coming down pit road as he completes lap 303 to make this stop. Final time in. Let's see if it's going to put rubber on or just top the tank.
Got right sides up there right now, going with the rights. I don't see him working on the left side. He must be going right side only.
Good stop, 11.5 seconds for a couple of tires and fuel. And away goes Davey Allison back into the hunt.
One thing about 11.5 second stop, there's no way they could have gotten that car full of gas. Harry Gant off the pace on the back stretch. He's in serious trouble because he was just in for a pit stop.
Harry Gant is idling back in, and since we're still having trouble with sunspot, let's pause for another commercial message, and hopefully at the return we'll be ready to bring you pictures live from Charlotte of the finish to this exciting race. Our coverage from the satellite is being bothered by sunspots, and it continues at this time, for which we apologize, but there's not much we can do about that, except tell you that we're at Charlotte and we're watching a dandy race with 307 laps complete. Pit stops are the order of the day. Davey Allison has just pitted, and that gives Kyle Petty a shot at first place with his Pontiac. Kyle is now first. Michael Waltrip is showing in second. Third is Derek Cope. Fourth is Bodine, and we're into a period of pit stops. Dale Jarrett's number 21 has pitted once and is pitting again. Davey Allison has come to fifth with 309 complete, and now number 42, Kyle Petty, is coming in for fuel and tires. When we saw the 21 come in, this is its second stop. It did not take on rubber. Now it's come back in the second time.
They're taking gas only there. So
on car 42, Kyle Petty.
On Kyle Petty, just gas only. So they want to get back out there.
Taking the gamble, 334 the distance, 310 complete this time by. Neil Bonnet, what do you think?
Well, I tell you, these guys are gambling right now, just like with Kyle, taking nothing but fuel. He closed him up. Davey just in front of him, but the only problem is Davey has tires on. So these guys are starting to play strategy in the pits.
Well, down here in the pits, it's getting interesting. Davey Allison, when he stopped, got 2 tires of fuel. Brett Bodine got 2 tires of fuel, and Kyle Petty got fuel only. No tires. They're trying to make these pit stops as short as possible. It's coming down right to the wire.
Number 30, Michael Waltrip takes the lead late in the going. The Maxwell House Country Time car number 30, Pontiac of Michael Waltrip, finds himself in first place as he waits them out. In second position, the 28, Davey Allison, third Kyle Petty, and fourth Morgan Shepherd. Now 310 complete.
Ken, Mike Waltrip and Terry Labonte have their own little competition going. Waltrip started back at 36th spot. They've been battling for the catch-up award all season. It's only $557 in this race, but the guy gets the most of those all year, gets 20 grand. So Waltrip kind of chided Labonte for doing too well in qualifying for this race. Terry started up in the 19th position, so Mike stands to gain a lot more spots. He let Terry have it on that one.
11 lead changes among 9 drivers to date. Let's see who's going to be next to come on pit road. As Michael Waltrip, Earnhardt is back in another time. If you're just joining us, the wheels literally fell off his campaign for the national championship when the lug nuts were not tied up on the left side. They weren't tidied up. They came off, and one wheel rolled all the way through turn 2. It put him 7 laps down. But then Mark Martin's number 6 lost the cylinder, and Mark Martin is backed up into 14th spot on the tail end of 1 lap down, almost 2 laps down.
Ken, this is a great time for us to say hello to our friend A.J. Foyt, who was injured in a race in Wisconsin. We just want to say hello to him, make sure that he knows we're thinking about him, and he can't run away from us anymore. He's not going to walk for a while, but
he's ready to race.
He's going to race. He said absolutely. He'll be back in April, and we're tickled to death to hear that. But I'm just want to make sure that we said hello, and all the race car drivers, crew members, AJ, want to let you know they can't wait to see you, buddy.
That's right. He's got to get back out there. We got to mess with him a little bit.
Ernie Irvin, whose car got messed with rather severely and is running without any of the front panels or the hood. That's number 4 back on pit road another time. And Michael Waltrip, for the moment, has the field covered. Number 30 stays out here. Interesting to find out when his pit crew is going to bring him in and fuel him up. Davey Allison second, Kyle Petty third, Morgan Shepherd in fourth, Ricky Rudd fifth, Darrell Waltrip sixth, Brett Bodine seventh, Cope is eighth, Kowicki ninth. Those are your cars in the lead lap. 1 lap down in 10th is Dale Jarrett, followed by Rick Wilson. 2 laps down now is Jack Pennington, and dropping to 3 laps down is Mark Martin. He's in 13th.
Ken, this is Bob Barcia in the pit lane. I can tell you when Michael Waltrip, our new race leader, is coming in. The team plans to bring him in on lap 322, 7 laps from right now.
Of course, they're praying for a caution in this 7-lap interim, and he has a big advantage on the rest of the field. He has them covered by about a third, maybe a half a lap at this time, over 28. Davey Allison in second.
And what helps on being able to stretch it like this, the longer he can stay out, the less fuel. I'm sure it'll be a fuel-only stop, and he'll probably go right back to it, Johnny.
Well, I just want to make sure you guys know that my guy just called me, and he did take care of the sunspots for me, so everybody's watching again, so you don't have to talk so much, Ken.
Okay. Well, that's a relief for everybody. Michael Waltrip in front, Davey Allison in second. And the interval is about half a lap to decide it here. There you see the number 30 car of Michael Waltrip looking for that first Winston Cup win. He has to make a fuel stop, and it will come 6 laps from now.
There's Darrell Waltrip coming down pit road. He was back in the lead lap, and this is going to put him back again.
Running in 6 as number 17 comes on pit road.
They're taking gas only also, so it'll be interesting to see how he does with the others on the pit stops, but he's just taking gas only.
81 winner back out, and for the moment, Michael Waltrip stays in the lead. Davey Allison second, Morgan Shepherd third. But Michael will have to pit. By half a lap, he leads with 3:18 of 3:34 complete. Get ready for this pit stop. It'll be a quickie on Michael Waltrip. There's the leader, and it's a long way back to that line before you find Davey Allison.
But as soon as he makes that pit stop, it's going to turn around in the other direction. You do have to understand that Davey Allison still is in command of this race. As soon as Michael makes his stop, Davey's going to pick up about 10 or 12 second lead on him, I think.
Be interesting to see how smooth and how steady he's going to be with the pressure fully on that pit stop after running these laps at 160 miles an hour to ease that car on pit road this final time after all this activity. Here's Davey Allison in second spot, lapping Ernie Irvin as the suspense builds. Michael Waltrip, who's never won a Winston Cup race, who's now broken in on the Grand National circuit and tasted victory a few times, has the lead for the moment. But he is faced with a quick pit stop late in the going. Davey Allison lurking there in second spot, and behind him comes Morgan Shepherd, number 15, in third. Field getting spaced out a little at the end of this event. The 30 of Michael Waltrip. Here's a team that has really come on, and of course next year they change sponsors and they expect to be even more formidable. They picked up considerably more money with Pennzoil coming into Winston Cup racing for the first time. And here comes the leader on the pit road. Now Bob Barcia is there. Davey Allison is entering turn 3. Second place car.
It was a gas-only stop for Michael Waltrip, and he leads here like a top-fuel dragster. But I bet that nozzle wasn't in there for more than a second and a half. If he needed that gas, I'm not sure he got enough.
I see it the same way. I don't know if they got any gas in the car at all, or it's really close. So if it's mileage, he could be in trouble.
3:22 of 3:34 complete as the number 30 comes back to speed. but he's given up first place. Davey Allison is first. Morgan Shepherd is second.
Barry Dodson will be the first one to tell you that you pull it off, you're a hero. You miss on a deal like that, you look bad. That's the only thing you can do in a situation like that, isn't it, Barry?
Exactly right. That's his best shot right now. Spend as least amount of time as you can on pit road. It takes about 6.5 seconds to dump 11 gallons, and I think they were probably in the car maybe a second and a half at the most. So it's going to be close.
How much fuel can you dump a second into these cars, Barry?
We can get 2 gallons right at it. Just if you got good cans and a good gas man like Norman was for us.
And that wouldn't carry him to the finish. It's going to be close.
It's going to be real close.
Well, one thing, how much was left in there before he put it in? How much a cushion did they have? But you'll be, promise you, they'll be glad to see the flag, checker flag fall with that little yellow car still running.
Now there's the leader. Davey Allison deployed in first. Morgan Shepherd is in second. Michael Waltrip is third. Kyle Petty is fourth. Ricky Rudd fifth. Kowicki sixth. Brett Bodine seventh. Derek Cope in eighth. Those are the cars in the lead lap. Eddie Bierschwell's car coming by. Runs strong all day. At the present time outside the top 18. Going by that brand new water tower they're constructing over here on the backside of Charlotte Motor Speedway. You see Davey Allison clicking off another lap. 3:26 of 3:34 complete this time by. Richard Petty's car number 43 on pit road. Unofficially shown at 18th. Double check that on Richard Petty's position, car number 43. As we watch Davey Allison backside continuing to work on a victory in his 115th Winston Cup start. He has collected 7 Winston Cup checkered flags thus far in his career. Has 1 win this season. That at Bristol, Tennessee on the high banks. Bass Spring on those 35-degree banks. He came home victorious. Trying to add to some $2,300,000 he's collected since he went into Winston Cup racing. Ford in first, Ford in second, Pontiac third. Allison, Shepherd, Waltrip, top 3. You see the 28 car. And now we go back to Morgan Shepherd. Morgan driving for Bud Moore and having a great afternoon here. Morgan Shepherd really showing Bud Moore's car to the nines in this event. Let's take a look at that interval another time between Morgan Shepherd and the 15 and this 28 car out in front. Out of 4.
And that is a 3-second interval.
And that's a lot, right?
3 seconds is a bunch.
Davey Allison may be on his way to winning at Charlotte. Race that his dad won. Father won this race on 3 occasions. And here's Davey Allison in number 28 trying to duplicate that feat this afternoon.
What a great victory this would be for Robert Yates, his car owner also. They've struggled. They lost their engine man, tragic death, and Roberts had to jump in and take control back over. And boy, this would be a great turnaround, wouldn't it, Neil?
It sure would. You know, Davey ran good. They won the Bristol race, and that's been their highlight of the season. The rest of it, they've had a lot of downside to it. And the whole team needs a good shot in the arm. This could do it.
Davey Allison's dad won this in 71, came back and won it again in 72. One of only 3 drivers to win it back-to-back. Won it again in 78. Now here's a battle developing for 5th spot. Ricky Rudd in the 5 and Alan Kowicki in the 7. It developed and it went away just that quickly as Kowicki motors on by and takes 5th spot from Ricky Rudd. Rudd to 6.
Wrong.
Well, for a moment.
Just kidding. Use Sterling to pinch him a little bit. Ricky and Alan have gotten together before on the racetrack, so Ricky just wasn't going to let that happen.
3:31 complete. Down to the finishes. These two aren't letting each other go. Davey Allison stays in first. Morgan Shepherd in second as the laps trickle down.
It was almost like Ricky didn't know Allen was for position on the racetrack. And
said, wait a minute, the alarm clock's gone off here.
Hey, this guy's going by. I got to go back to work.
You see Allen run up on him, but Ricky's really using the traffic good, and he has some traffic in front of him, but he will use that traffic, and he will glance in that rear view mirror that you discussed that program on how it works.
This track will wear you down, too.
Yeah, right now the cars and the drivers are worn down.
Davey Allison with a couple to go. Scoots around out of turn number 4 and brings that Robert Yates Texaco Haviland car back to the line. White flag is out on Davey Allison. Well, his dad won this race for Bud Moore. Won it for Holman Moody. Won it for Junior Johnson one time.
I'm sure Davey Allison's going to want to win this one for Raymond Fox.
Yes, indeed. Raymond Fox, who built so many great engines over the years for so many great teams and was lost the week of the Die Hard 500 down at Talladega this year. Down to the line, last lap, checkered flag getting ready to fall on Davey Allison, waving as he crosses the stripe. And the Robert Yates team with Davey Allison, the Alabama gang. And look at this battle coming to the line. 7 and 5 for fifth spot. Wheel to wheel to the stripe.
They touch.
Quickie. That's about as close as we can get that one for you.
5th place to Alan Kowicki, 6th to Ricky Rudd as they duel right to the line. Morgan Shepherd gets 2nd. So Ford gets 1st and 2nd. Michael Waltrip with a dandy day has 3rd. Kyle Petty 4th. Alan Kowicki, as you saw, in 5th. Derek Hope on 7th. And Brett Bodine in 8th. A lap down in 9th. The stripe will be Darrell Waltrip. Excitement for this Robert Yates team. They've worked long and hard, and this is a big win for them. We'll be back to meet Davey Allison, the winner of the Mello Yello 500 here on TBS. 1990, a great year for Davey.
Promotional fees and consideration have been paid by Timex. The Timex Motorsports Watch is now available for $29.95. It features time, day, date, 16-hour timer with 8-lap memory. Quantities are limited. Order yours now. Call 1-800-FOR-TIMEX. And by True Value.
Give your home beautiful protection with long-lasting True Test Weatherall house paint exclusively from True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Victory Circle is the domain of Davey Allison, and Chris Economaki is with him.
Well, here's a happy winner on a hot. You look very pleased, Davey. Did you ever think you could win this at the halfway point?
Well, I'll tell you what, Chris. These guys have worked so hard. They deserve this. Jake and all the guys on the crew, man, they have just given me everything I've asked for. You know, we've had some tough times, but we've overcome them. Robert's the best car owner you could ever ask for. You know, I think he's probably a tie with my dad, but I haven't got to drive for my dad yet. That may happen one day, but right now, Robert's the best.
You know that you ran a lot of the top guys into the ground, you and the racetrack. How was your car in the closing stages?
Car was perfect. We started off a little bit too loose, and Jake told them guys what to do to it to tighten it up. And we made some adjustments on 3 different pit stops, and the car got just right. And all we did was put tires on it from there on and just tried to run smooth. You know, I hate to see Bill Elliott have problems, but that happens in racing. We lost 2 here because of problems that we should have won, and we'll take this one.
Chuck Kosich and the Haviland guys are all here. It's a big day for you. Got enough energy to celebrate tonight?
You better believe it.
Okay, there it is from the winner.
What a great job by Davey Allison. Well, our Timex Speed Track computer got a real workout today. First, Ernie Irvin up there at 167.78 miles per hour. But the fastest lap of the day on this watch was Bill Elliott, 32.07 seconds. And Timex Speed Track computes that to 168.40 miles per hour. All of Bill's crew will get a Timex Speed Track stopwatch. We'll have other things to update here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Let's go to Bob Varsha.
Michael Waltrip, a fine 3rd place finish today. Michael, you kind of rolled the dice there at the end, and it didn't quite work out.
Well, we had a plan, and it was a great plan. When that caution was out at the end, we decided to come in, give up some track position, but get me some fresh tires and get some more fuel, because fill it up to the top, and we knew if we had to make a green flag stop, it would be a brief one, and that would catch us right back up. And it worked. We had hoped to run a little bit better and maybe caught the front two, but I'm real happy. We ran strong as the day wore on, got better and better, and it showed at the end. This was a special day for our whole team. Our car owners, Chuck and Lowrance, were up in turn 1 watching us, and all the people from Country Time and Maxwell House are here too. So we're real happy. This is our best finish of the year and a 3rd and 4th at Charlotte. So hopefully this team's getting closer to a win. Everybody asks you that, and you never know what to tell them, because especially here, I started 36, and I couldn't hardly say, yeah, I'm getting real close to a win starting back there. But we proved that we're tough, and we're going to be around for a long time.
3rd place finisher today, Michael Waltrip. We'll be back to sum up the results and all of the action from the day's events here at Charlotte after this.
Activities continue for Davey Allison. As for Bill Elliott, though he may not have won the race, he was a runaway winner of our True Value Hard Charger competition today. 1,892 points on the day. Brett Bodine, 1149. Davey Allison, 966. Ken Schrader and Kyle Petty all adding points onto the board as that competition continues now with 3 races left. And Barry Dodson, I want to thank you for being down here, not only bailing us out, but I learned a lot today, and I think the race fans did too.
Thank you, Mike. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I learned a lot. It was something different for me. The best part today, Davey's win, I know little Raymond Fox is in the pit area with him. Myself, I feel like we've run 500 miles along with Neil Bonnet upstairs. Johnny Hayes, Ken Squire, you guys do a terrific job. Like I say, I learned a bunch. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, sir. And that's the story of the day right there. Davey Allison's pulled it off with his family, smiling in victory lane. Bruton Smith, chairman of the board of the Charlotte Motor Speedway, alongside. It's over for today. Gentlemen, a closing thought from first you, Neil Bonnet.
It looks like one of my Hueytown neighbors sat there. You know, I'm certainly glad to see Davey win the race. And one thing that's, you know, kind of hurts is to see the 2-point guys have trouble. Both of them have trouble, but we've got some more races to go, and maybe they can get back on track.
John Hayes.
Great race. Enjoyed it. Congratulations, Davey. I'm tickled to death for Raymond Fox's family.
Look at that crowd. As we've said before, this is the track where for the past 31 years, it's been a record crowd every year. No exception this year. They came to see the battle in the point standings. As it ends today, unofficially, it's 44 points in favor of Mark Martin, 3,985 to 3,941. But they came to see the event, the festivities that always mark Charlotte as something exceptional. And they came to see a race that's always special. This particular race, this 500-miler, sets it off for the rest of the year. 2 weeks from now, they move to Rockingham, then across the country to Phoenix, Arizona, and then back in November to decide it all for 1990 at Atlanta, Georgia. Our pleasure here on TBS to bring you this event. We'll be here for the next 3 years for all the excitement of the Coca-Cola 600 and the Mello Yello 500, as well as Richmond International Raceway's great events. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Our congratulations to the Alabama gang for putting it all together this afternoon in such grand style. And to all these great competitors who give their all every week in Winston Cup racing. It's the best. For Neil Bonnet, Johnny Hayes, Mike Joy, Chris Economaki, Bob Barsher, Mark Pfister, Barry Dodson, I'm Ken Squire saying good afternoon.